He fits what TexAgs radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
That's how long I've been on ya.
It's Nuño and the crew on TexAgs radio. Right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
You know how long I've been on ya. Since Prince was on Apollonia. Since OJ had isotone.
Is it championship or bust? No, duh. Of course it is. It is for everybody in the SEC. But no ultimatum is being made here for Jimbo Fisher. Welcome into TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. So there's a narrative out there that the national media has made it that Jimbo or bust. Well, guess what? It was Jimbo or bust when he first signed here. Or net championship or bust when he first signed here. This isn't a new narrative. When he signed here the first time and got that huge deal, the moment he renewed his new deal here a few months ago after he wins the Orange Bowl, it's always championship or bust in the SEC or for any top program. Of course it is. That's how it is. You either win or we're not celebrating 8-4 here. I don't know why people have got that twisted. He signed the top recruiting class ever, and there's articles out there. One of them from a buddy of mine, like championship or bust. Of course it is. It's always going to be a championship or bust. We're not celebrating here. Hey, yay! We got our best recruiting class. No, it doesn't end here. This is all it does is affirm what everybody who hired Jimbo Fisher, that everybody involved in that, and everything that we think here on this show about Jimbo. Every team out there is trying to win a championship. And that could be at multiple levels. It could be a conference championship. But if you win the freaking conference championship in the SEC, guess what? You're probably playing for a national championship. Okay? You are. It's that easy. Is it a championship or bust for Brian Kelly? Yes. It's championship or bust at LSU for Brian Kelly. That's how it is. Is it for Dry Fit Lincoln over there at USC? Yeah. It's championship or bust. Sark? Yeah, that's why they hire him, to try to get there. I don't think it's going to happen. What was it, OB, as we start the go hour here? We talked about, you had that quote the other day. It's Division I football, brother. If not, go play intramurals.
Go play intramurals, brother. Dan Hawkins.
Dan Hawkins, there you go. Of course it's championship or bust. That's what you do in Division I football. Even at the University of Houston with Dana Holgorsen, they're trying to win a conference championship. And when they go to the Big 12, they're going to try to win that. And they're going to try to be invited to the playoff at one point. It doesn't matter. It's all about championships. So, OB, let's start off with that narrative.
Of course it is. The SEC is the conference that fires national championship coaches for not winning again.
Ed
Hello? Orgeron, he didn't win as a championship coach, but Gus Malzahn, Gene Chizik, Philip Fulmer.
Yeah.
Hey, you won a national championship? Thank you. Do it again or we'll fire you.
Correct.
Of course it is. And if Nick Saban starts having teams for a long stretch that aren't successful, at Alabama, they'll probably
force retirement, right?
Or force retirement, which is the same thing. So of course it's championship or bust. They were talking at Michigan about firing Jim Harbaugh last year. Why?
Because he couldn't beat Ohio State.
They've been winning 10 games very frequently. So why? Because you get into this, you pay coaches a lot of money to win a championship. Now, I know Jimbo Fisher gets paid more than most, but if you're paying your coach $6 million, aren't you expecting him to win championships?
So, and I'll say this, OB, it's championship or bust, but there's different layers to that, or levels, I should say, because with Jim Harbaugh, he didn't win the championship. Yet
he won the Big Ten.
He won the Big Ten, and he got invited. That's the first step, right? So, yes, you've got to win a conference championship, get invited to the party, but he's going to be fine for a couple years. Now, when it comes to Kirby Smart, he had to eventually break through after being invited to the party.
Because Mark Richt was a very successful coach at Georgia, and they fired him because he did win an SEC championship, but he couldn't, quote, take them to the next level.
Right. So this is not a new narrative for any college coach in the SEC or any big-time conference. This is what you do. And there's my buddy Conor O'Gara. I didn't read the article. I just read the headline. And I know that a lot of times, I should probably have read it before I went on this rant. I just kind of saw it before I started the show. But a lot of times when you say things like that, and I know that the author of a story doesn't necessarily write the headlines, but when you write things like that, I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, that's what we do. Like, I want to have the best show in the market. Of course. Like, I'm not here to play second or third place. You want to have great columns every time you write something. You know, like that's what you do when you're competitive, and especially in Division I football. Like, goodness.
Ralph Friedgen, do you remember him?
Yeah, I sure do, yeah.
He got Maryland to consistently win 9 or 10 games. And Maryland. And they had I think maybe an 8-win season or something like that, and they fired him at Maryland because he wasn't winning an ACC championship. And you were winning 10 games frequently at Maryland. So you can look at just about anywhere, and they're expecting to win. If I'm going to pay you this much money, I expect you to win. So that's your point is well taken. It's championship or bust for any coach at any program with self-respect.
What's his name? Mel Tucker at Michigan State, who got the same deal Jimbo got. Do you think he's got a championship or bust mentality, and everybody around him does? Probably so.
He probably, yeah, I'm sure. But the difference is, again, the national media is not going to point that out on Mel Tucker.
What about Brian Kelly? Do you think if he has 3 years,
isn't he making more than Jimbo?
Yeah. Don't you think if he has 2 or 3 years of they lose to A&M, they lose to Alabama, 2 years, his name's on the hot seat?
Only if they can't afford to fire him, right? But look what happened with Gus Malzahn, and he beat Alabama twice, and they probably would have beat Alabama this year if he had been their coach. I think Gus Malzahn's a good football coach, a really good football coach, and yet, he didn't win a national championship, and so. He was gone from Auburn.
Speaking of Auburn.
Oh,
my. I'm not going to get into the rumors because, as I told you yesterday, you can Google it yourself if you want. I like stuff to be reported not by sliced bread. Like, I want it to be reported by legit. But there are reputable reporters, one of them Justin Hokanson, who I think he used to work with at Rivals back in the day, who's reporting that Harsin could be out soon, real soon.
I think what's going on with Brian Harsin is he's a difficult guy to work with, and he found himself I always say he's reportedly a difficult person to work with. The fact that both of his offensive coordinators or both of his coordinators have left kind of hints to that. And there's been other coaches that
and one after like a week on the job, right, or something like that?
3 months.
3 months on the job.
But also I think Brian Harsin didn't realize what he was getting into. He's a Pac Northwest guy, and they like football, but it's a different animal down here. And I know he coached at Arkansas State, and he was an offensive coordinator at Texas, but it's a different deal when you get in the SEC. And he may be one of that example of that guy who's a good football coach, but a bad fit.
Yep, that happens a lot. In the SEC, not everybody can fit. We're going to find out about Brian Kelly, what kind of fit he is. As good of a coach as he is, and I think he'll be fine. But we're going to find out about him. We found out about Jimbo. There were some questions. How is Jimbo going to adjust, even though he had been a coordinator in the SEC? He's been great. He's been phenomenal. He's been exactly the championship or bust mentality we expected to have.
Yeah, it's funny to me that people bring up the 8-4 and conveniently forget that they were 9-1 last year. When you start recruiting a lot of these guys, really recruiting them, and then when they beat Alabama, they were, and then they won the next 2 games. A&M was looking at possibly being in a New Year's Six bowl, so you had guys that were really on board before the last 2 games.
Yeah, I think there is a disconnect between what people wanted to hear from Jimbo. If you're on the Aggie side. He is speaking to our fan base. He's speaking to us. It's everything we wanted to hear. Then there's others that I guess just don't know the story. I got a text yesterday, like, why is Jimbo so mad? Like, it's okay. You're allowed to spend money. That's not the point. Like, right. I hate that I get angry with people for not doing their research, but, like, don't text me then. Like, don't text me this nonsense.
Well, I was telling you, I was on last night, I was on an Alabama radio station, And there's the two hosts, and I was talking. They were asking why Jimbo was, upset and how bad it was to call out another coach. I said, wait a minute. The calling out started before Jimbo. He's responding, and one of the hosts kept trying to interrupt me, and I finally said, "Look, I'm not here to debate you, but I'm just telling you. You asked me a question, I'm going to answer." He said, "Okay, talk." And I tell him what Lane Kiffin said about A&M paying a luxury tax because they spent so much money. And he said, "Oh, yeah, well, I didn't know he said that." I'm like, then why are you having me on here and asking me questions about that and then arguing with me?
It's dumb. Do your research, buddy. The entire thing is that Jimbo's upset about one thing, as we all are as Aggie fans, right? We are all like that's not. I don't believe that NIL is why they had the number one class, because I think the entire playing field is now even. It just showed our other areas a little bit stronger, right? Is Bama playing the NIL game?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
Is Texas playing the NIL game?
That's one way you could call it.
I believe LSU probably is too. Yep. One way?
I think so.
Yep.
I mean, they've been doing it for years. They're just not doing it through the Our Lady of the Lake.
So to say that the only reason an 8-4 team is because you're just dumb. You don't look at the entire story. You don't see what we have here, the facilities, the city, the proximity to big markets, the fact that 70%, I don't even know if that's the right number, most of the class is from Houston. Like, do some math, do some deductive reasoning.
And on top of that, just Jimbo Fisher and his staff's always been a great recruiter. I looked it up. I should have already known it, but I looked it up as a head coach at Florida State and A&M. His classes have been out of the top 10 twice. One time at Florida State, he was number 11, and one time at A&M, his very first year when he gets laid in, they're 17. He's had something like 5 classes in the top 5. He's been number 2, and now he's number 1. So
he was number 3 at A&M once.
Number
right?
3.
Yep.
So to suddenly think, there's something amiss, something sketchy going on. No, he's always been a good recruiter wherever he's been. And A&M, first of all, there was a time when College Station was barren almost.
Right.
There wasn't much here. But that hasn't been the case for 30 or 40 years, and it keeps growing. And now it's a vibrant college town, and it's safe.
Yeah.
And I had a coach tell me recently, don't underestimate the allure of a college town that is safe, that has a low crime rate for a lot of kids that come from at-risk backgrounds.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, if you want to be a part of this conversation, you can do that on the A&B text line. You can text us 979-693-1150. A&B, a College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. Good old Texas Bank, and website is amb.com. You can also call us on the BCSI hotline, that same number, 979-693-1150. Let's say hello to Dalton Hughes here, who showed up way early in the morning. And Dalton, I might have seen one little patch of ice on my drive here.
Yeah, there was none. It was a much ado about nothing, apparently, with this weather storm.
I mean, it was cold.
I mean, it's cold, but cold doesn't stop anything.
No.
Coldness is a mindset. Icy roads will mess you up.
When does Dalton sleep?
He doesn't sleep.
I don't think he does.
Tried to ask that. I've actually been going to bed earlier, Olin. I've been getting 8 hours of sleep by turning the TV off at 8:30.
Oh.
You're getting 8 hours of sleep?
I don't believe it.
Hold on. For reals? I don't even get 8 hours.
When you factor in that, I've been really good / bad about taking a nap from 5 to 6. So there's an hour.
Yeah.
And then, about 10 p.m. to 5 a.m.
I just assumed that he didn't sleep, that he just waited for a certain time of year and hibernated.
Well,
I mean, that would be
he's
nice.
kind of a big bear-like creature anyway.
he is a big bear-like. Hey, do you want to jump in on this little rant I was having this morning about the championship or bust mentality?
I mean, I think everyone knows what. Yeah, you're right. I was more ready to make a Harsin joke, but I'm not going to because you said we're not going to do that.
I mean, you can make a joke.
What, like that we're just a motorcycle crash away from proving we live in a simulation?
Oh, my.
That's a little much.
Yeah.
Here's the line. Here's
But you know
Dalton.
what? I
Olin usually.
actually encourage people to. You notice I didn't say don't say that. I just said,
yeah.
I like crossing the line. I think the line. I always live on the other side of the line, pretty much.
You like to live on the other side.
I stay more on this side of the line now because I'm closer to retirement, and so I got to make sure.
You got to make sure you make it there.
I make it, yeah.
Yeah.
This is all hypothetical, though. I didn't say that actually was going to happen.
No, you weren't saying that. But we'll see what happens with Brian Hart. Once these reports are coming out.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's like one of those that I get it that it's just speculation right now, but credible people aren't speculating that unless there's a really good chance it happens.
Yeah, and I guess the part that I was talking about, the speculation part, was the message board, like drama behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, that. But like if people are speculating, hey, is that guy going to be here in a week? Then
yeah, reputable reporters.
When there's smoke, there's fire.
Absolutely. You know, where there's not any smoke. Well, it's good smoke. I don't know. I have no segue here.
Olin, do you want this smoke?
No, I don't.
Okay.
How's that for maturing? I'll just let that go.
I'm proud of you.
Yep. All right.
People are wondering what that's about, but if you were in Jacksonville a few years ago, you know exactly what that was about.
I think I know.
Yeah.
I'm going to something. Well, I'm not going to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals, am I?
There's kind of a indirect link there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's I wanted to make sure I was on the same page because I saw a Dalton tweet recently. Right now, a moment for the Association of Former Students. Appreciate all that they do. They've been doing it for a long time. It's been over 140 years. I don't have the exact number. I'm going to go 142 just to pretend like I know. But they've been helping out Aggies all around the world with your help out there. You've empowered them to be here, to be there, to be everywhere, and that's where they are. Just kind of go through the list. They've been all over the place, guys, and they've been doing it for such a long time, and it is not possible without your gifts there in support of the Association of Former Students becoming a Century Club member, which is not expensive at all. You can do it for $100 a year, roughly $9 a month. You get the plaque, you get the decal, you get the Texas Aggie magazine, plus you're continuing in the oldest, most inspiring tradition of Aggies helping other Aggies out there. I want to encourage you to give back to the association, make a gift, or get involved. Visit AggieNetwork.com/giving.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. Get pre-approved today with a 5-minute loan approval. NMLS 1309378, Equal Housing Opportunity. The Bryan High Fine Arts Department presents Disney's The Little Mermaid, Thursday and Friday at 7 p.m. and Saturday at 1 and 7. Tickets are available at the door. The Children's Museum invites you to enjoy an enchanted evening with your little sweetheart as the daddy-daughter dance takes over the Stella Hotel on Friday and Saturday. Purchase tickets at cmbv.org. The Bryan College Station Chamber of Commerce is hosting a local candidates forum on Wednesday from 6 to 8 at the Brazos Center. If you can't attend in person, you can listen to it on 1620 94.5 WTAW or stream it at radioaggieland.com. Submit your nonprofit event by email to news@WTAW.com. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
It's time to do your civic duty and make sure the best candidates get elected for office. Hi, I'm Gabriel Garcia, and I'm asking you to re-elect me as your Brazos County District Clerk. I have a passion for public service, and I've made a number of positive changes in the District Clerk's office, including added deputy clerks in court, stressing the importance of preserving and archiving records, and adding a Clerk 1 position without raising the salary budget. Re-elect me, Gabriel Garcia.
Paid for by Gabriel Garcia Campaign, Pet Septic Treasurer.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
If you own construction equipment and need replacement rubber tracks, now's the time to get $200 off your next set of rubber tracks at WPI. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings, and depth to teeth, buckets, and blades is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI's new location in Bryan. Hurry in. $200 off rubber tracks in soon. Highway 21 East at Marino Road or click WPI.com.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams,
and Max Kellerman.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if the Kansas City Chiefs never got back to a Super Bowl ever again. It wouldn't surprise me because your head coach time is a ticking as a head coach. He's not going to do it forever. The other teams within the conference is getting better. You can just go on and on and on. That's why I would say it wouldn't surprise me if the Kansas City Chiefs didn't win another Super Bowl.
It's Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor, here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Yeah, he's in football right now. That was his choice. When I first signed him, I assumed he would stay and play baseball because he's a significant baseball player and could be a very high draft pick. But he expressed to me from the get-go, Coach, I want to be a football player first, then play baseball, and I want to do it. And he told me his plan of coming in, not fooling with baseball, so he could learn the offense, get the offense, understand things, go through fall ball, and then come back like a normal freshman and be able to do both, which would be great, which I've had multiple guys that have done that, whether it's track, which we have here, track guys, or baseball guys at other places I've played. Jameis was a great one, a great example of that, who was going to be a first, second-round baseball guy, just like he was football. And football was always number one, and he could have went either way. I think it would be the same for Connor. But he loves football and wants to play baseball, and I respect that. And I like two-sport guys. I really do.
All right, Jimbo Fisher there at his press conference on Wednesday, breaking down Connor Wegman, who's going to be playing football this spring and learning the offense, which I think bodes well for just getting up to speed here in the college way. It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. OB, I'm excited about Wegman, and I think he's going to be able to compete for that starting job because of who he is. But if I'm using my crystal ball and I'm trying to maximize my talent as long as possible, I want him to be ready and push Haynes and push Max, but I also would like to see a chance for them to just take their time, right? Because then you can go longer. You can spread it out more. Let's get Haynes a year or two. Let's get if Max Johnson has to play a little bit, he's got to play. If Connor's ready here in a year and a half, that'd be ideal from a timing perspective.
I think it's a great value for a quarterback to be able to, if he does either redshirt or at least just back up his first year. I've seen so many great quarterbacks that really benefited from a redshirt year. He mentioned Jameis Winston. We saw Johnny Manziel here. I was in Austin when Vince Young redshirted.
Yeah,
it's just I think it's very invaluable. But a lot of guys just don't have the patience anymore. I don't know what Connor Wegman's mindset is, but I'll say this: I want the best guy to play.
Yes,
and I think you've got a really good situation that hopefully doesn't end badly. A&M 5 or 6 years ago had a great situation. It ended badly. You know what I'm talking about.
Sure do.
You had 2 NFL quarterbacks on your roster, and neither one of them finished here. I do think Jimbo will manage the quarterback situation much better than the previous coach did, but that's a good problem to have. But there are those, Connor Wegman, this guy's so talented, he's got to start. Well, you also got to know the offense inside and out, and you've got to have some experience. Not necessarily, it's not required, but it's better. And quite frankly, all I've heard is every time I've heard about Haynes King is that he's an NFL caliber quarterback. So I'm not going to beat the drum for Haynes King, even though he isn't a beast from the East. I'm not going to beat the drum against Max Johnson, who has the most experience as a SEC quarterback of them all. And I'm not going to be against Connor Wegman. But I do hope whichever one ends up being the starting quarterback, that he's as good as they're all hyped up to be. Because, again, we saw it last year, A&M is – I'm not even saying great quarterback play. A&M is consistently good quarterback play away from being a true, legitimate championship contender.
By the way, it kind of makes me go back to the Brian Harsin topic. Kind of sad for Zach Calzada to transfer, lose his offensive coordinator, and potentially lose his head coach. Look, I'm not trying to say that I want Auburn to win or anything, but it just poor kid makes the decision to transfer. to start somewhere or try to start somewhere, and that whole situation could be looking different.
Well, I'm not going to root against Zach, and I know you're not either. Appreciate what he did here. But again, I think that he was an average quarterback in all but one of the games he played. And maybe he'll get better at Auburn, but I can see your concern for him because, you step into that situation. Auburn seems like they can't ever go more than 2 or 3 years without major drama.
Right.
And here it comes again.
Major drama all the time. And back to the way we started the segment, as for just what Connor Wegman and his timeline, as you mentioned, it is about the best guy starting next year. In going back to the bigger topic of the championship or bust, legitimately, how far away is A&M from a championship? Because, I know we can hope for one next year, right? Get great quarterback play and everybody develops, but there are question marks, and question marks until they're proven are question marks. But I think that window is open now, but really is kicked in 2 years from now.
That's what most are going to say. I think A&M was at a championship level in 2020 when they went 9-1. I think A&M was at a championship level last year until Haynes got hurt.
Yep.
And when you look at that, they beat Alabama, and despite inconsistent quarterback play, they were in a position to win the games they lost.
Yep.
I believe that, again, 2023 would seem like the logical target date or target year, because all these guys in this heralded recruiting class will be absolutely ready. It's that second year. But all that said, I see no reason to feel like you can't go out and compete for it and win it this year. I see no reason.
I liked what Jimbo said about Haynes a couple days ago. Was like, people talk about the interceptions. A couple of those were not his fault.
Yeah, deflected, or guys, maybe two guys being in the same area they weren't supposed to. Yeah,
and early in his
it was
tenure.
His first game of the year.
Yeah.
For goodness sakes. But we'll see. When I think about the upcoming season, I say yes. Kenyon Green is going to be impossible to replace. You might adequately replace him, but you're not going to be as good as Kenyon Green was. But I feel like that it's not even going out on a limb to say I think A&M will be better at 4 of the 5 positions in the offensive line.
Landon Robinson will be better?
He was his first year as a starter, and he was hurt.
Yep.
He was playing hurt most of the year.
Bryce Foster will have shoes.
Was a freshman. He'll have shoes, you're right.
He'll be ready to roll.
Fothery.
Ruben Fothery, without a doubt.
And we appreciate what Jameer Johnson did. But Jameer Johnson, first of all, a lot of people don't know, he was playing with an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, he didn't play against Alabama. And he's also, I think he was serviceable. I think A&M will be better in the offensive line. I think they'll be better at receiver. I think they'll be better at quarterback. I even think they're going to be, as much as blasphemy as it seems, better at running back. I think they're going to be better in the secondary. I think they'll be about the same, if not better, at linebacker. And I don't know about the defensive line. How can you be better? But again, I don't see with the type of talent they have coming in and is already here, I don't think the drop-off is going to be terrible. So I think why not shoot for 2022 and feel that it's realistic.
Absolutely. By the way, we'll continue with this topic. I also want to get into some hoops as the Aggies do play this weekend. They got to stop that losing streak. We'll get to your text messages there on the A&B text line and on the BCSI hotline, 979-693-1150. More of that when we come back here on TexAgs.
He's worked for Chip Howard, Mark Cuban, and Mickey Mouse. David Nuño on TexAgs Radio on The Zone.
We're here with Jason Rollo of Rollo Insurance. Jason, when we say the difference is real, what does that mean?
Well, first of all, when we use the term real, we're speaking about being genuine. And I think that anyone who does something in a good way has to be genuine. But also when I think about the term real, I think about rates, education, assets, and life. Many people think that insurance is about rates. Although that's important, it's actually about education of what you're buying to protect your assets, and we want to do that for the life of the client.
For more information, go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
One of our biggest problems today is that we are afraid to have others challenge our mindset, and therefore we avoid topics that can lead to challenging conversations. At a young age, we're told not to talk about anything that is remotely divisive, but without having challenging conversations, how do you know that what you're saying is your truth and not just something you were raised to believe? Having conversations is how we learn. It's important to be able to see the other sides of things in order to form an opinion and choose what's best for you. Let's say you were raised to shower with all your clothes on. You could go throughout life thinking that is the best way to get clean. And if you never meet anyone brave enough to talk about hygiene, then you may never know that there is a better way. There's no reason to be afraid of differences. Limiting yourself to certain topics can render yourself unable to talk to friends, coworkers, or even family. To avoid challenging conversations is the same as to keep your mind trapped in a little box. Open your box and start having more civic conversation.
Civility. It's an American thing. From AmericanThing.org.
The flagship station for Aggie athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors. Lance Lester at the Lester Group, Zwerneman Flooring, The Sleep Station, and Twin Peaks. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
On Sports Talk, Chip visits with author Jim Dent about his days in Mexico when he was hiding from the law.
I was hiding in plain sight when I was in Mexico. One of the highlights of the book is that I played with a mariachi band. Guantanamo. I had a blast down there.
I bet you did.
I almost wish I had not tried to come back.
Sports Talk, crossing all borders since 1994 on The Zone.
You like to dance, Opie?
Irma and I used to dance quite a bit.
Yeah?
Yeah. That's how we met.
That's how you met, dancing?
I asked her to dance.
What?
Yeah, she said no. I badgered her until she said yes.
Yeah? What kind of dance were we talking about
We
here?
were two-stepping.
Two-stepping? Yeah.
We were at a country bar in Austin. Danced to George Strait. Write This Down was the song.
Okay.
Yeah. I like that with Alan Jackson. Yeah, I'm sure you're a big Alan Jackson fan.
I mean, Alan, we call him AJ in my community.
Yeah.
AJ in my community. He's big. That is OB. It's the Go Hour. I'm David Nuño. It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We appreciate your text messages there on the A&B text line. I'm going to read this one that came in from Dale and Tabor. It says, why did they sign if all these naysayers would come to a game and see the core, hear the Aggie band, and feel the pulse of Aggieland as athletes did, they would understand. The experience can't be replicated. The athletes felt the pulse and wanted to be a part of it. I think that's all part of the conversation. Yeah. And by the way, A&M is cool. You remember that feeling with Johnny where, like, for me, it was weird because A&M was cool, like, in certain communities, but it was like A&M was a global brand when Johnny was here. Everybody was talking about us. I kind of feel that same way with Jimbo in a different way. Like, we are just a brand, baby, and people know us.
Well, Jimbo is making it cool, I guess. I think, winning is always cool. And I think kids can look at kids are smarter, I think, than some media. They can look at and say, oh, yeah, they had their backup quarterback. But recruiting has always, first and foremost, been about relationships.
Yeah.
And Jimbo had – look at Elijah Robinson. What an amazing job that guy has done. Terry Price. He's been a successful recruiter for I don't know how long. And Santucci apparently is really a heck of a recruiter. So he relates well with kids. And then all the bells and whistles are there. I don't know if when I think of A&M as the cool place to be, I don't know if that comes to mind. But I think what happens is once you get here, and that's has always been the first thing, get somebody on campus, and they go, wait a minute.
This place is great.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you're in somewhere in Florida that you've ever thought, hey, man, what's a cool college to go to? You're probably thinking, USC, or something like that. I don't know if A&M comes to mind. But you got recruiters that can get you on campus, and then when you get here, it's not just the football facilities. I took a tour of the engineering building. Right. I'm like, holy cow! Look at everything is first rate here. My wife, who went to Cal Berkeley, was saying, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing. We didn't have study places like this." Yeah. And then you see all the things that the athletic department has to offer, from the great food in the Slocum Center to just the like he said, the atmosphere at a game and the fan support and it's all there. I used to say, what does A&M need to have a championship caliber program that is not provided now? And the answer is nothing. What they needed was a championship caliber coach.
Got it.
And they got it now.
Check.
And so now you're seeing everything. And it's always, get the guys here. If you get the guys here, then A&M will sell itself to a certain degree. And I don't know how many guys you could make an NFL team out of guys that A&M finished second for before Jimbo got here. And the difference is he's closing the deal. N'Kobe Dean, Travis Etienne. These are some guys that A&M finished second for. Jimbo's here, and he's getting those guys on campus, and then he closes the deal.
He does close the deal. By the way, let's talk a little basketball for a second, because you alerted me to a press release that came out. The A&M Auburn game, which is a week from tomorrow, I believe, has been moved to 11 a.m. It's now going to be nationally televised. They're always nationally televised, but on ESPN, which has got a little bit more eyeballs than the SEC network. That game's now at 11 a.m. on ESPN. But they got to take care of business at, 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock. Yeah. Remember, Missouri is just one accent mark away from misery. So it's time to end the misery and beat Missouri again. The last time they won was against Missouri, right? Yep. So, I would expect A&M to win at home against Missouri. I would expect that.
I would expect that, but it's going to depend on who they are, right? Like, if we get the A&M team that played South Carolina, they're not beating Missouri maybe. If we get the A&M team that should have beat Kentucky, should have beat Arkansas, and could have beat LSU, they're beating Missouri, and they're going to get back on some kind of vibe.
Well, see, I think what you just said is in the majority of those games, they were the team that was good, just wasn't quite good enough to close it out. So I'm more likely to think that's who they are than the one that showed up that wilted against South Carolina.
And Tennessee, I don't want to say they did wilt.
They fought back, though.
They fought back, and then Tennessee just pimp slapped them. I mean, just that 16-2 run ended. Because you do all that hard work. You're right there. You're down by, was it one?
One.
And then it just
went from down 14 to down 1, and a couple times had a chance to tie when you were down 3. And 16-2 run, no doubt about it. That was a problem. Now, Henry Coleman, the last time they played Missouri, Henry Coleman was 9 of 10 from the field.
Yeah, he was great. He was great in that one. What they really need, though, is consistent good guard play.
Yes,
easier said than done. But give me Wade Taylor.
Wade Taylor.
I guess Marcus Williams.
Gordon's been shooting pretty well of late.
Gordon's been playing very well. But they need consistent guard play along with consistent front court play, as all teams do. But this team's margin of error is so small that you get those two things to hit. Don't forget what got you there, which is that intensity and that defense.
And that's what I think you're going to see more often than not. Again, we talked about the thing where, 2 games you're going to win probably because you just played out of your mind.
Yep.
2 games you're going to lose because you just didn't show up. And then the rest is who you are. And I think the rest is a scrappy A&M team that can really be a rock in your shoe.
Yeah. Yeah, they can. I want to see it again. And we've seen it more than we haven't seen it, right? So you're right about that. When we look at the totality of the season, that A&M scrappy team winning the loose balls and just getting some tough plays going, that's the team we've seen most of it. For some reason, I feel like that LSU loss has had lasting effects that they need to figure out a way to get out of that funk and let's go.
Well, it's hard to deny when, that was one of the games in the loss that may have had lasting effects. But I fully expect this team to be the team we're accustomed to seeing.
Yeah.
Even losing efforts, it just goes out there and fights. But I think, to the end, and I think I think they're going to beat Missouri.
Yeah, they better. I mean, because again, I know we talked so much about the NCAA tournament, but the NIT is still very possible. And we can discuss, if you get a couple of, how about this? Regardless of whatever tournament they play in, get a couple of victories that you can carry into the offseason, right? You beat an LSU, you beat an Auburn, you beat whoever, okay? You beat somebody that next year, you're not that, now, and you add maybe one more piece, and I'm all right, this is A&M's year now. They got the youth out of the way. They've already proven that they can hang with the big boys. They've beaten one of the big boys. Let's go.
We all know that, you're hoping to get into the postseason. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the goal, everybody, and then to have a nice run. And it's the NCAA tournament. Nobody sets their goal as the NIT. We get that. But I'm inclined, when you were saying that and mentioned the NCAA tournament, the name that the person that came to mind was not even basketball. It was Jim Moore in football going, remember, playoffs? I don't want to talk about playoffs, just trying to win a game.
Right.
And I think A&M's
needs to do that.
What they've got to do is say, all right, figure out what we have to do to end this skid. Beat Missouri. Get back on track. You got LSU coming in. Find a way to beat LSU. And it's really the whole coaching cliche that we all in the media hate. But the way this season has gone, it really is just win this game and we'll worry about something else. And then if you win enough of those, maybe you find your way into the postseason.
See, people laugh at that cliche, one game at a time. But I'm going to give an example. You've run half marathons before, right?
No.
I think, or you've done a lot of.
I've done some running, but never actually did the half marathon.
Okay, but whatever distance you're going, 5 miles, 3 miles,
10K.
If you think of the entire for a half Ironman, 70.3 miles, and you think about that when you start swimming, you're not going to finish, right? And it's too much to comprehend. But I got to just finish this mile. Let me just finish this mile. Boom. All right, 1 more mile to go. Let me just concentrate on this mile. Let's go. It's the same way for this basketball team. All right, let's focus about Missouri, get back on track. All right, we got Missouri. All right, LSU, we played them tight. We should have won that last game. We got them at home this time. Let's go. Boom. And now it's kind of it's kind of like the losing, but one at a time.
Just see if you can't stack them. Because, by the way, how far do you have to swim when you're doing those
the half Ironman
things? Yeah,
I've only done a half. I won't do a full. That's way too much time. A half Ironman swim is 1.2 miles in the ocean.
Really? You got to swim a mile in the ocean?
In Galveston, too. Yeah.
Yeah, they might as well. I'd need an air tank because I'm gonna sink.
It's the scariest part about it is there's no floor, right? It's there is.
You get tired, you can't put.
But yeah, you can't put your arm somewhere and rest. And the beauty of a pool when you train in a pool is you have the line in the middle, and it kind of helps you stay straight in an ocean. You swim, you have to look up every stroke because if not, it'll take you and you'll be way off course.
Wow. What if you get stung by a jellyfish or bit by a shark?
Well, that it's over. If you get bit by a shark, it's
I mean, the jaws shark. I mean,
luckily, I've not run into that. I try not to think about. If you think about that, you're not going to.
I'm not going to do it. I can tell you that now.
I'll tell you this: the worst part about the Ironman swim is when you start getting kicked in the face for the first 300 yards. Like it's because all of it's like sardines and go, boom. You start going. People are hitting you. They're grabbing you, trying to pass you. It's jockeying for position in the ocean. That part is not fun.
I think the whole the entirety of it doesn't sound like much fun.
And not the last time I did it, but the time prior that I did it, I think it was 2019. I looked at my GPS watch, tells you how far you go. It's 1.2 miles. I ended up doing like 1.6 miles. A lot of people do because, again, you're not going in a straight line. You're just kind of drifting off, and then you have to get back.
I would drown. I mean, I would.
You'd have to practice first.
But, because what you said, you get tired, you can't stop really, and, put your...
Well, they have little buoys there, and there's people
I'd be all over the buoys.
But when you start holding on to the buoys, they pull you out. You're done. Like it's a wrap. You maybe get like a 3-second breather, but like if you're like hanging on, they're like, "No, sir, you got to go with us." And
what if you don't?
If you don't
go,
with
say no, I'm not going. I'm going to finish this. I may be in the.
They see your number.
I may be like, well, here, I'll take my number off. I'm gonna.
They'll DQ you, but you could go do it
just to say I finished. I don't want to finish. Okay, well, we probably talked more about Ironman than we ever have on this show.
Yeah, and we still got to do a Tough Mudder here soon. I haven't paid for mine. I got to do that. But right now, when they do my Heritage Films, they won't be talking about Ironman. They'll probably be talking a little bit about me doing this show. But many of you out there have somebody in your life that's very important to you. And if this is a gift you'd like to give, or maybe you want to recommend it to somebody, Heritage Films is a great way to tell your story and keep it on video and preserve that story for your entire family. No longer do you have to play the game of telephone. The beauty of Heritage Films is they light your house up, they have the cameras out there, lights, camera, action, boom. They put the story together 8 to 10 weeks, and they get it done. And they will tell your family's story. It is going to be a very powerful thing and something that generations to come can really hold on to and really know where your family came from. I can't wait to watch the one Chance did about my dad. Filmed it about a couple of weeks ago. Here in about 6 weeks, we'll get that bad boy. We'll watch it together as a family. It is yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. There's never been a better time for a cash-out refinance. NMLS 1309378 Equal Housing Opportunity. Brazos Valley Troop presents Villainy. Performances are this weekend. Reservations are strongly suggested and can be made by emailing bvttix@yahoo.com. Join the Arts Council of Brazos Valley on Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. as they welcome Randall Light, MD, into the gallery with his exhibit, Astrophotography, Exploring Celestial Mysteries. The Bryan Animal Center is hosting a free microchip and rabies vaccination event on Saturday, February 12th from 8 a.m. to noon at Tiffany Park. Pets must reside in the city limits of Bryan. There is a free class offered to seniors on healthy aging the first Wednesday of every month. Contact the Mature Well Lifestyle Club for more information. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Hey parents, when it comes to your child's education, there's a lot to consider. No matter what you're searching for, search the Bryan Broadcasting Half-Price Tuition Program first. We've partnered with schools and learning centers throughout the area to get your students started with high-quality programs at half price. Right now, we're featuring half-price tuitions at Hopewell Classical Day School, Kitty Castle, Kinder Music, Southwood Learning Center, and more. Half-price tuitions are first come, first served, and availability is limited. Go to halfpricebrazos.com.
I can do this.
We believe in you.
Each day brings hope.
Every day, millions of people celebrate their recovery from addiction and mental illness while others begin their journey. Be a part of it. Share your strength, support, and hope. Join the Voices for Recovery. Together, we are stronger. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral for mental and substance use disorders for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Alan Ward of Brigadoon Brewery joins me a couple of times a month
on the Louis Bellina Show.
Believe it or not, brewing the same beer over and over and over again gets monotonous. The new model we have for beer in Texas, in the United States, basically, I would say, is that the tap room is going to have some one-offs, and that gives the brewery staff a chance to experiment, to try something new, a little different. They're probably brewing smaller batches. Most breweries have a pilot system, so instead of brewing 140 barrels, they do 2 barrels. And that gives them a chance to put something in the tap room for variety, because on the other side of that, the craft beer customer comes in and they want something new. They want to try something different, something that's only available at the tap room. And that gives the brewery staff a chance to experiment and to have some fun with it. A lot of breweries have a little competition, or they'll have a brewery employee of the month, and the employee of the month gets to.
We are a little bit more than just sports on the Louis Bellina Show, weekdays 11 to 2. Right here on The Zone, and brought to you in part by Tradition Mobile and Lube Express.
Oh, let's
the
write
one?
this down. This is the song.
The first dance ever?
Yeah.
TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Got a bunch of text messages to get into. Here's one from Jen. I met my husband at a country western club in Dallas. 36 years later, we are still together.
How about that? See, that the secret to a successful marriage is to start it in a country bar.
Yeah.
Just like Bud and Sissy.
Bud and Sissy.
From Urban Cowboy.
OB, I met my wife July 11th, 1995. Happy hour at a Dallas nightclub in Austin.
That's where we met.
What?
Dallas nightclub.
Yeah, well, in Austin. I asked her to dance. She said yes. The rest is history. Tony listening in Hollywood, California.
We were in 2002 in July also, but I think it was July 20th or 21st. In 2002, I believe it was. Might have been one. I think it was 2002. R.C. Slocum's final year as coach. And, Dallas nightclub.
Dallas nightclub.
That's a place to be. If you want to have a successful marriage, start a Dallas nightclb. It's not there anymore.
It's not there?
No.
It's not the Dallas Buyers Club. It's the Dallas
nightclub. No, it was Dallas nightclub.
All right. It says loose, like as in loose the tie to Missouri. Will Buzz seats start getting a bit warmer? No.
No.
Not yet.
I think that Buzz would have to have a bad year next year before he would be put on a hot seat.
Sure. Here's one, Jim and Temple. QB run not an option last year with Zach's bum left shoulder, and we know, but the dummy national media, too lazy to research the details. That's why we went 8-4, Jim and Temple.
I agree.
Oh, bank Absolutely. On it, by the way.
I've already said it. The Aggies are beating Missouri.
Yep, presented by Vera Bank. Go see Joel Jackson and the team. Learn more at verabank.com. I'm banking on the Aggies are going to win a national championship with this group of guys. I'm banking on that. I don't know when it's going to be, next year, the year after, but it's happening in this stretch. This class will be a part of a national championship.
Don't be afraid to aim high this year. This year, don't be afraid to aim high.
You never know, right? You never know. Let's go. So, we beat them. We beat Alabama last year. Why not do it again?
The key, I think the first thing you got to do with Alabama is not be afraid of them. And I think once you beat them, you're not afraid of them.
Yep. Let's bring it. We'll go to Tuscaloosa and get a W there. OB, appreciate you, sir. Have a great weekend.
You too.
All right. Hour number 2 coming up. Sam Bennett in studio. I already saw him out there here at TexAgs. Looking forward to catching up with him. Chris Gordy. We've got some Senior Bowl stuff to get into. Aaron Torres, John Puglisi, all that and more. TexAgs Radio.
Howdy, this is Steve Bledsoe, fighting Texas Aggie class of '83, with some exciting news. VeraBank is now open with our new full-service location on Highway 6 in College Station. With personal bankers, business bankers, VeraBank has everything you need in one convenient location. Come see for yourself where genuine banking is waiting for you, and you can bank on it.
Visit verabank.com today. That's VERA bank.com. VeraBank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Think about your mother, your sister, your girlfriend. 1 in 6 women is a victim of sexual assault. Now think about your father, your brother, your best friend. Men are victims too. Rape can happen to anyone. This is Christina Ricci with RAIN, encouraging you to call the National Sexual Assault Hotline to learn how to support someone you love. Call 1-800-656-HOPE or visit RAIN.org. That's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
Your home for Aggie baseball from the first game to the last game. Home or road is Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Plus online at RadioAggieland.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. Those who have business in Bryan Municipal Court today are being given some options due to the weather. While the court is open normal hours, those who have documents or payments with a due date of today can also take care of their business next Monday. And those who cannot appear in Bryan Municipal Court today will have their case automatically rescheduled without penalty. A Bryan man arrested 6 weeks ago, but who has not been indicted for possessing 9 baggies of ecstasy, returns to jail following an arrest on a charge of entering a Bryan home last Christmas Eve and taking $1,000 and several presents. According to the Bryan police arrest report, the victim identified 18-year-old Jose Cardoza Jr. as one of 4 people who were caught on surveillance video. Brazos County's elections administrator says many voter registration applications her office has received in the mail will be rejected. Trudy Hancock says that's because they're not following the new state law requiring a social security number or date of birth.
And I understand with identity theft, a lot of people are concerned about putting that information on a form, but it is required. If you do not put that on the form, then we have to reject your application.
There are almost 123,000 registered voters in Brazos County. Hancock says that's about 1,000 more from a year ago. After taking off last year due to the pandemic, the signature fundraiser for the College Station ISD Education Foundation returns tonight. Foundation Director Teresa Benden says tickets remain available for 50 men who can cook.
We invite local businessmen. We have a representative from every one of our schools, whether it's a principal or a teacher, parent that cooks to represent the schools, and some local celebrities, and they bring 800 2-ounce samples of that recipe to the event to serve to our guests.
Tickets are available through noon today online at 50menwhocancook.org. For more news, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
If you own construction equipment and need replacement rubber tracks, now's the time to get $200 off your next set of rubber tracks at WPI. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings, and depth to teeth, buckets, and blades is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI's new location in Bryan. Hurry in. $200 off rubber tracks in soon. Highway 21 East at Marino Road, or click WPI.com.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Pioneer Steel, Gulf States Toyota, Cherry Rafino with Coldwell Banker Apex Realty, and Amarillo National Bank. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Texas A&M women's basketball got back up on the winning track last night, downing Arkansas 77-64 at Reed. The victory snapped a 3-game losing skid for the maroon and white. Graduate guard Kayla Wells.
I just feel like we had a sense of urgency today. Coach Blair stressed that, and we stressed that in practice these past few days. We're trying to get to the tournament, and we're hungry. So we just had a little bit of sense of urgency, and we had energy, and we followed the game plan like we were supposed to. I don't think we did that against Mississippi State, and that was really a letdown because we needed that game. So this game we came, and we took it personal, and we did what we were supposed to do.
Wells finished with a career-high 30 points for the Ags, who improved to 12-9 overall and 2-7 in SEC play. The victory also marked the 850th of Coach Gary Blair's illustrious career. The Aggie men's and women's diving teams dominated the first day of competition at the Air Force Diving Invitational. Amy Wilson and Victor Povsner each won their respective springboard events, and a combined 7 Ags advanced to the finals. And men's and women's track and field kicks off the Charlie Thomas Invitational this afternoon at the Gilliam Indoor Track Stadium. Competition gets underway at 2 o'clock. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Listening to The Zone on your Amazon Daughter Echo is easy. Even Louie figured it out. 2 simple steps, and you can hear Chip Howard Sports Talk, TexAgs Radio, The Louie Bellina Show, and many of your favorite A&M teams anytime, anywhere with your special friend, Alexa. Step 1, and only one time, say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Then anytime you want to hear your favorite host or teams, all you have to do is say, Alexa, play Zone 1150. Make sure to set it all up and say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill, and listen in anytime just by saying, Alexa, play Zone 1150.
We on a world tour with my man, going each and every place with the mic in their hand.
TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. A little Tribe Called Quest in the background. Sam Bennett in studio. What's up, my man? How are you?
Cold.
Yeah, it is cold.
Really cold, but happy to be here.
The Collegiane's #1 golfer here hanging out on TexAgs Radio. Good to have you here, man. I've actually been wanting to do this for a while and recently reached out. Let's talk about the last 10, 15 days. Dubai for, you told me, 8 days.
Yeah, 8 days I was gone.
How was that?
It was a really cool experience. The flights over there was miserable. I mean, 14 hours there and 18 hours back, but yeah, it was a cool experience. I got teed up with the best in the world. Got to see Rory, Morikawa, Hovland. Some of the best ever do it, and I was able to compete against them. And unfortunately, didn't play my best and missed a cut by one. But it was a cool experience, and I'm pretty disappointed at how the week went. Just because my first PGA Tour started at Valero, I was pretty nervous, and it was really nothing I could prepare for. But out in Dubai, I felt, I got a lot of experience, and I felt comfortable out there, and, I just didn't play good, but I was happy to see that I made some strides from my first PGA Tour start last spring.
Yeah, it's good to have these on top of each other, right? So you start going through this more. As you mentioned, you just didn't play well, but that sometimes happens in the game of golf. The comfort level is what probably the most important thing, at least at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I didn't play good, but that's what I was happy about, like I said, is the comfort level. I mean, it was like I was out there kind of just chilling, playing at my 9-hole course, like a recreational round, which I was happy to see.
Beyond Dubai, let's kind of go over your last 12 months or so and just the great year that you've had, I should say, and how things have played out for you. I'm looking at some of these notes where you had 7 top 5 finishes, and you're obviously #1 right now. Just all the greatness that has happened over the last 12 months.
Yeah, it's been cool. Last spring I was able to win 3 times, in three pretty big college events, and then I won the Spirit, which I represented the United States in November, this past November. But yeah, it's been a fun last year. It came from being my freshman and sophomore year, not thinking I was ever going to win in college, or just kind of being content with getting top 10 and top 20s and helping out my team. But now I've gotten to the point where every time I tee it up, I expect to win and I want to win. And, I'm here now competing, played in 2 PGA Tour events so far and got another one coming up in March. So it's been a fun ride, and I'm looking forward to what's coming up next.
You mentioned the Spirit. I know there's a story behind the Spirit as well. Can you kind of share that one with us?
Yeah, I was 3 back going into the last day. And one of my teammates, Rachel Heck, the girl on the USA team, she we're putting on some face tattoos for the last day to try to be festive or whatever, and she stuck her, or I don't know if I stuck her club in my bag or she did, but I teed off with 15 clubs and got a 2-stroke penalty and ended up making a 6 on the first hole, which would have been a 4, and I was 5 back with 17 to go and ended up making 7 birdies and still able to win the tournament. But yeah, I was shocked when I saw that 15th club in my bag for sure.
How does that work? You have to self-report? Is that how it?
Yeah. I'd tell the rules official, like, look, I don't know what to do. This is not my club. But luckily she was able to tee off with her sand wedge, and I got a 2-stroke penalty. But I guess in the end it didn't really matter.
Hey, I do. That's a funny story, and great that you're able to overcome that. I do want to talk about something that has changed your life, and may be a little difficult to talk about the passing of your father there, and how that has impacted you. I know the last couple of years were very rough, but talk about your relationship with him and how he set you on this path.
Yeah, I mean, he was my role model and still is. I mean, everything I do now is, because of him, and it was. And yeah, it was a tough. Last spring, even when I was winning all these tournaments and getting these accomplishments, playing in PJ Tour events and all this stuff, my life still, it kind of sucked. I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't happy. I was kind of depressed. I was like, he's not even, I'm winning, but he's still alive and has no clue what's going on. He didn't know who I was, didn't know who any of us was. And that's why it was really tough, is I was accomplishing everything I wanted to accomplish and what he wanted me to accomplish, and yet he still didn't know. And that was kind of tough for me. But yeah, he's helped me a lot in everything that I do. And, I know he'd be happy not only in like my wins and everything I've accomplished, just the kind of the man I'm growing into be. Really, he never really cared what I shot on the course or what I scored, as long as I was respecting the game and being a gentleman to my player competitors and just, respecting the game. But yeah, I look up to him, and I know he's up in heaven looking down, happy as ever.
Yeah, he's absolutely happy. And for those who don't know, you lost him to early onset Alzheimer. He also gave you some great advice that you have now kept close to your heart and on your body.
Yeah, on my left forearm, don't wait to do something.
Can you show the camera?
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll be able to zoom in on that, but it's on there. I see it.
Yeah, but yeah, I look at that I look at it every time, and it's something I draw back to on the golf course and off the golf course.
So don't wait to do something. To you, that means just go ahead and go accomplish all your goals.
Just go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing in general. It's just one of the last things he said, one of the last conversations that we're kind of able to have before he, stopped being able to communicate.
Yeah, it's just wonderful that you guys are so close, and that you're playing at such a high level and dealing with that. The mental side of golf is so important, and you were playing well, but still battling some demons through that. How did you battle back?
Yeah, I don't know. That's tough. I've just stayed strong. Golf is all between the ears, and I feel like that's what separates me from the rest is my mental game. Is when I tee it up, is my determination, my confidence level, how I think on the course, how I prepare, all that kind of stuff. Kind of deals with some of the stuff that I was dealing with Dad, just staying strong and knowing that, kind of time heals everything. But yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I still sit back and reflect, and all the stuff that I've been through it's kind of crazy to me what I was able to accomplish going through some of the stuff. And, luckily Ron Pittsinger here at A&M, our psychologist, he's helped me out a lot, and I couldn't be more thankful for him. And, Corton, he's kind of my coach. He's kind of taken over the father side since I lost Dad, and he's helped me out with a bunch of stuff. And I just had a lot of support and teammates, and everybody at A&M so great. So I've had the path to success kind of set up for me.
Yeah, and one of the things that people always talk about with your game is the fact that you can stay so calm in the good and the bad. Is that something that has always been there?
No, I think I've kind of learned that, and that comes with Coach Corton helped me a bunch. I think it was last year, my first tournament of the year in Laredo in the Border Olympics. I had a 3-shot lead going into the last day, and I let the pressure kind of get to me, and I ended up shooting like 43 on the back nine to lose. And it comes with like learning experience. I've kind of been there. I've just kind of learned how to stay calm and just be out there. I learned how to. To win, it doesn't really take nothing too special. You just kind of got to plot yourself way around the course and just stay calm, and it just kind of comes to you. But I think a lot of that's just come with, how many tournaments I played in and been in high-pressure packed situations and stuff like that.
You mentioned that Coach Corton has taken this father role with you in the absence of your father being here on Earth. Obviously, he's with you in your heart and watching. Mm-hmm. Talk about your relationship with him too. How he gets the best of you and how he's always there for you.
Yeah, he's awesome. When I was going through my tough times, I'd sit in his office for 2 hours and we would talk. We talk every day, and I'd just go in there and I wouldn't even practice golf. I'd go in there and we'd sit down and I'd talk. There's been a couple of times where I've cried to him. Not gonna lie. We'll talk. He'll come pick me up a couple of times, or I mean, he's just done it all for me, and I can't thank him enough for that. And you know, he's so supportive. I mean, he texts me, he calls me all the time, and he's been really great. Not only, you know, on the golf course, he's helped me, you know, be this high profile player, but really off the golf course with some mental stuff, he's helped me out a lot too.
What about your teammates? Pretty close with Walker and the gang? Yeah,
they're awesome. I love my teammates, and that's why, you know, hopefully I'm gonna stay another year. I mean, I love A&M. I love the coaches. I love my teammates. I mean, we're awesome. I love being around the guys.
So you can stick around even longer is what you're telling us, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I think I got another year left in me.
All right. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
So I do want to ask you about the rivalry with the University of Texas. And is it Cootie, how you pronounce it?
Yeah, the Cootie brothers.
Yeah, Cootie. So I read, I was getting ready for this interview, they both broke their same arm in the same place in a car accident recently?
No, it was they were training. They were
Okay.
doing some relay race, and they ran into the walls, and they both broke their arm in the same place at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah.
And one of the brothers is the number 2 ranked golfer in the country. Is there a good rivalry with these guys?
Yeah, I was telling somebody I hope he's healthy back for the Aggie, because I know he's coming back for revenge when I took him down at my home track. But I think he'll be healthy by then. But yeah, I'd say there's a little bit of a rival there for sure. And we don't really face them too much in the spring, but they come here for the Aggie. And so, hopefully we'll have a nice little showdown again this year like it was last.
Yeah, remind us of what took place last year.
I don't know. I guess I won the Aggie and beat him. But yeah, I don't know. I cut him by a stroke.
Awesome. So good. So what's your schedule here on out? What's going on?
Well, I got leave for our team leaves for Hawaii and next Sunday, and then we're there for a week, and then I get home and I prepare for the Arnold Palmer Invitational, my 3rd PGA Tour start, which is gonna be cool. Got my brother on the bag, and got a lot of people from Madisonville coming down for that. It's gonna be a cool experience. And then we got, I guess, 3 tournaments after that until conference, and we're in the postseason.
So what does Sam Bennett do when he's not on the course? What are some of the things? I'm trying to get to know you. Are you a video game guy, movie guy, Netflix? What are you doing?
I game here and there. I play some PGA Tour golf, but I don't know, honestly. Nothing. I like to shop. I like to buy stuff.
Okay.
But other than that, there's not much that I like to do that I can really say on here also, I guess.
Okay, I got you. But so the course is really where you do?
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't play, I always tell people, if I didn't play golf or do practice golf, I don't know what I'd have too much time on my hands.
Right. How often are you working when it's not team activities?
A good amount. I mean, I have a bunch of buddies and, members out at Traditions and stuff that we like to go play, and my cousin, my roommates, and just some other people. Not so much practicing, but we'll go out there and have fun and play a nice little recreational round.
Yeah, and when you walk around campus, are you starting to feel a little bit more notoriety?
Yeah, well, I went to everywhere. I went to Paulie's for lunch yesterday, and this little Mexican food restaurant, and people were like, two people came up to me and was like, "Hey, big fan of yours. How did you enjoy your time in Dubai?" And there's some stuff walking around just the town that was like, big fan or whatever. And it's kind of different being a golfer. You don't see that too much, but yeah, definitely here in College Station, there's a little more notoriety coming along.
Do you pay attention to what the football team does?
No,
you're too busy out there just working away. So what you told us about the next year, but what is the big picture here beyond?
I mean, hopefully, play on tour someday. I mean, right. I feel like I belong, especially after playing in Dubai and seeing those guys and seeing how I felt out there. I feel like that's what I belong to do. And people always, my dad and my grandpa and brother always told me ever since I was, 10 years old that, there's something different about me in my golf game that, they see. And now I never really saw it growing up, even though everybody else did. But now I'm starting to compete with the best and, winning and being top 5 amateur in the world. I can kind of see that's where I'm at, and that's the path I want to take. And I just gotta, there's a lot of things I need to get better at. Was just not only in golf, but just growing up mentally, getting stronger, just some stuff that I need to get better at, and that's why I'm not for sure yet, but that's why I'm probably staying another year in school, and I want to graduate. That's the main reason I want to graduate from A&M. I just ordered my Aggie ring a couple weeks ago, so it's pretty exciting. But, yeah, definitely. I mean, if I don't play on the PGA Tour, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, we're gonna get you there to the PGA Tour. Yeah. Do you remember the first time you touched a club, or how old you were? Or
no.
It's just your whole life?
Yeah, my whole life. I mean, there's pictures when I was like 2 with swinging plastic clubs or whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, it's been my whole life.
And when you were growing up, were you a Tiger guy, a Phil guy?
Tiger, still a Tiger guy.
Yeah, still a Tiger guy.
He's going to win again.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He absolutely is. And
he's
then
Tiger.
Last thing for you, you think this will be a special season for A&M?
Yeah, that's what I'm so excited. I can't wait. Right when I got home from Dubai, I switched my bag to the A&M stuff, A&M head covers, because I did some NIL stuff, and I couldn't wear any A&M stuff. And, I was excited to be back. And I love A&M, and I love my teammates, and I love playing for them. I love it. I'm a big team guy, and I'm excited for what's upcoming this spring. We didn't play good in our first event, but that's all right. But, yeah, I'm so excited. We're sneaky good.
Yeah.
We kind of get overlooked a lot by, because we don't have all these, big names, like some of these school does, or well known for like the golf powerhouses. But yeah, we're going to be good this year.
As you mentioned NIL, so I do want to follow up. So golf getting some love too, and you're getting some love there. How has NIL kind of changed it for golf?
Yeah, there's a lot of people, golf that, I think I started kind of late with some stuff, but I'm working with some people, and we're getting some stuff going, trying to get some local stuff here in College Station, or just some other stuff. But yeah, it's been definitely good for the golf game too. It's not quite as big as, football or basketball, but there's definitely some things you can do with it.
Sam, thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me.
Do it again, all right?
Yes, sir.
We got Sam Bennett there here, hanging out on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. An open segment when we come back, and then we'll get back to your text messages and your phone calls here from the Rollo Insurance Studio.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. Get pre-approved today with a 5-minute loan approval. NMLS 1309378, Equal Housing Opportunity. The Bryan High Fine Arts Department presents Disney's The Little Mermaid, Thursday and Friday at 7 p.m. and Saturday at 1 and 7. Tickets are available at the door. The Children's Museum invites you to enjoy an enchanted evening with your little sweetheart as the Daddy-Daughter Dance takes over the Stella Hotel on Friday and Saturday. Purchase tickets at cmbv.org. The Bryan College Station Chamber of Commerce is hosting a local candidates forum on Wednesday from 6 to 8 at the Brazos Center. If you can't attend in person, you can listen to it on 1620 94.5 WTAW or stream it at radioaggieland.com. Submit your nonprofit event by email to news@WTAW.com. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
This Valentine's Day, say I love you with a gift from the Chocolate Gallery. Gourmet chocolates and pastries made in the heart of downtown Bryan. The Chocolate Gallery is taking pre-orders now for their decadent chocolate-covered strawberries, uniquely flavored chocolate truffles and bonbons, and Valentine iced sugar cookies. Valentine's goodies are only available by pre-order through February 12th. Don't miss your chance to give the best chocolates in the Brazos Valley. Pre-order now at shop.bcschocolategallery.com. That's shop.bcschocolategallery.com.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family.
Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
This is ESPN Radio.
Darius Butler, former Colts CB.
Frank Wright, it's a prove-it year next year, really. I don't care how you sugarcoat it. That's what it is.
Mark Adams, head coach, Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Everyone's been a slugfest. So, yeah, y'all send me your prayers. I appreciate it. God bless.
Bears wideout Allen Robinson.
It was extremely frustrating. I'm going through the season, seeing some of the game plans, seeing how I'm not really being involved.
Nate Newton, 3-time Super Bowl champion.
Jay Will.
Yeah.
Much love to you, man. Key them going to do what they do in Mac. He going to out-scream everybody. But Jay Will, hang in there.
I appreciate it, man. Hall of Famer Andre Reed joining us.
When the Raiders came up there for that beatdown, we knew they lost the minute they came on the field. They probably lost on a plane landing.
Oh. Bruce Pearl, head coach of Auburn.
If I'm on with Freddie at night, I must have done something right. So this is big time. Freddie Coleman on ESPN Radio. Let me get out. Come on, get out.
Listen in to ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio, 1150 and 93.7 FM.
With a little love and some tenderness.
Making some radio babies here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Let me tell you how happy Dalton was that I did that, Mr. Golfer here. That was a great interview. Really enjoyed talking to Sam, as we expect really big things from him. Just a nice young man, and was happy to get him here on the program. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate you guys listening in. A couple different ones to get in here on the A&B text line. It says, Jim and Temple, successful quarterback runs opens up the rest of the offense. That's all I have for you guys today. Have a great day. Thank you very much, and beat the hell out of Mizzou over at Reed tomorrow. Yep, let's go after it for sure. And then I guess because everybody's in their feelings this morning, and because Olin was talking about how he met Irma, country western dancing, and here's one from a 979 number. It says, met my fighting Texas Aggie husband at Duke's in Dallas, together 11 years, married for 5 years. Steve in College Station, do you think the summer during the SEC Media Week that they would put Alabama, Ole Miss, and A&M on the same day? I hope so.
I hope so. That sounds like a Wednesday lineup. You know what? Just complete it. Put Leach on that day, too.
Oh, that would be huge.
Because Auburn has to be Thursday. That's kind of the way the SEC's always done it. I could see a Wednesday of Saban batting leadoff, followed by Kiffin, followed by Jimbo, followed by Leach.
Yeah, the problem with that is that you got to spread out the news a little bit, don't you think? Like those are like all the heavy hitters. You want the interest to last all week, and it is the SEC, so there's going to be interest. But like, I do think the big three. I think you got to give Leach his own day so he doesn't get lost in that mix. Since we're over here as the marketing arm for the SEC Media Days, which
I mean, you got to think though. You got other storylines too. You could have them on one day. You have Auburn. Auburn anchors the final day, no matter what.
Whoever their coach is.
Well, yeah, but with Birmingham Media, you want the Auburn people there, so that way the hotel's still full of people.
By the way, I think this year, and you can Google and fact check me.
Yeah, it's actually Nashville.
Nashville, which I've never been to.
So Vegas, so Vanderbilt will headline. No, but you have other storylines out of those four. You'll have Brian Kelly at his first SEC Media Days.
That's true.
You have Billy Napier at his first SEC Media Days.
Yeah, it's but the bottom line is the heavyweight fight between Jimbo and whoever wants to bring it that week. Like I think Jimbo and Nick, there's a friendly rivalry there, right? Like it's Nick wants to destroy Jimbo, especially after saying he was going to beat him, and then Jimbo does do it, and yada yada yada. That part, but it's
you also just said all the interest was on those four, the defending national champs. We didn't even include.
Oh yeah,
that.
You're right. Hello Kirby.
By the way, my idea was right. Don't doubt me.
I'm just saying Mike Leach could get his own day. That's all I'm saying. He's good. But at the end of the day, I'm most interested in Lane and Jimbo, and for a couple reasons. Lane is pretty comical, and there's it's entertainment value when it comes to him. But this dude has complained about what A&M is doing from a NIL standpoint or from a recruiting NIL standpoint. But how did this guy land perhaps the highest budgeted transfers from Jackson Dart to Zach Evans to the tight end from USC? Like this guy is benefiting huge And do you not think NIL played a little part in the reason that those three picked Ole Miss? Got to play a little bit of a part. I was here hoping that Ole Miss was going to have a down year. And they still may have a down year. But they have played the game of transfer well. But if you look at what Jimbo's done at A&M with transfers, I think he even said he's done two. Right? So, you got Max recently, and there will probably be one more, maybe two more this offseason. And, if they go linebacker, if they end up going a different route. But all that being said, I am so interested in what the Lane versus Jimbo stuff, and it's not Lane versus Jimbo, but Jimbo said, like, hey, we got meetings coming up. Come find me. Like, I'll be there. I ain't hiding. And he's never hid from any of his comments and any of it, right? He is, without a doubt, been on top of everything. I cannot wait for Ole Miss to be here at Kyle Field, though. Not necessarily for the Jimbo part of it, but for the power of Kyle Field, right? When Lane steps in here. This is not Knoxville where there's going to be a gross scene in the stadium, but it's going to be loud. It's going to be raucous. It's going to be a fun one to watch out there. So that is going to be one of those storylines that we'll be talking about all offseason. You remember when Jimbo made the comments at the Houston Touchdown Club. When was that? May, June? That was probably May of last year. It was right before I was heading here. I think they had not even announced that I was coming. But I went and I met Jamie there. And
that was the day of your clandestine photo shoot.
Oh, that was a good photo shoot. Pretty good. Not that good. But I think that was May. But that storyline was all the way until the game. And then it kind of went away. Like it just wasn't it was a storyline for us because, hey, we said it, we did it, or Jimbo said it and he did it. I take no credit for that. But I think some of the stuff, and Jimbo is a sound bite machine. Like literally, you could make T-shirts of all the sayings he has, and they would sell. And who was it? Our buddy from the AP, Ralph Russo, saying the clowns comment that should be a shirt for TexAgs. I think it should be. I would love for everybody to check out our fellow Aggie, Christine Engler, the Aggie Loan Expert. The website is aggieloanexpert.com. How are you supposed to get by when everything costs so much out there? Here's an idea. With mortgage rates are still sitting near all-time lows, Christine is going to take great care of you with an easy refinance. She's taking care of all of her clients out there. On average, they saved over $350 a month last year. Start saving today. Apply online for your easy refinance at aggieloanexpert.com. Terms and conditions do apply, but you really need to check out Christine, class of 97. Her husband's also an Aggie, a great 1-2 puncher in this area to try to take care of all your needs here. And anywhere in Texas, she's going to take care of you, right? The Aggie Loan Expert is doing it, and she's been doing it for a long time. And now here in the Brazos Valley, she is the one to go take care of you. Terms and conditions do apply, as I mentioned. Christine Engler, Aggie Loan Expert, NMLS number, I say that so awkwardly, NMLS number 1309378, and company NMLS number 1324641, equal housing opportunity.
The one guy who does his hair, David Nuño, is on TexAgs Radio on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Hey parents, when it comes to your child's education, there's a lot to consider. No matter what you're searching for, search the Bryan Broadcasting half-price tuition program first. We've partnered with schools and learning centers throughout the area to get your students started with high-quality programs at half price. Right now, we're featuring half-price tuitions at Hopewell Classical Day School, Kitty Castle, Kinder Music, Southwood Learning Center, and more. Half-price tuitions are first come, first served, and availability is limited. Go to halfpricebrazos.com.
Did you receive a call or message that mentioned Social Security and demanded immediate action? Did the caller know your Social Security number or other personal information and tell you that your Social Security number had been used in connection with a crime? Did you feel worried that your Social Security number might be suspended, your bank account might be frozen or seized, or you could be arrested? That is not the Social Security Administration. Social Security will not threaten you, demand your personal information, or instant payment. Email or text you pictures or documents, or use a real government official's name to gain your trust. Social Security does not accept payments by gift card, prepaid debit card, internet currency, or by mailing cash. Criminals use these forms of payment because they are hard to trace. Do not be fooled. Hang up, ignore them, Report this criminal activity to the Social Security Administration Office of the Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Park at Tradition's Exceptional Senior Living, First Financial Bank, and Cooper's Barbecue. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Brian Flores, former head coach of the Miami Dolphins, filed a class action lawsuit against the NFL, claiming racial discrimination. Former Bengals safety Solomon Wilcots.
This is a guy that his players play hard for him, and that's what it really should be about. It shouldn't be about all this other stuff, these clandestine meetings on a boat to do other things, to lose games. And I think it's a black eye for the National Football League.
One of my good friends and colleagues in the National Football League, Isaac Bruce.
I think the message is it's okay for you guys to work for us, but not be on the same level as us and have the same opportunities as far as having being able to be in ownership positions or positions of power. It's not okay for that. It's unfortunate that it's still happening, but truly not shocked or amazed by it. Just disappointed.
Spend your mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor. Mornings from 5 to 8 here on The Zone.
And we're back. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate the text messages there on the AMB text line. Get to some of those here in a moment. 979-693-1150. Let's go to BCSI hotline, joined by my buddy Chris Gordy, Locked On SEC, iHeartRadio. Are you at an airport? Are you at the Senior Bowl? Where are you, my friend?
I am at the Senior Bowl, David. It's been a lot of fun being out here and catching up with a lot of the SEC players. I mean, basically like one whole team out here is like all SEC guys. So it's been a lot of fun to see them kind of going up against one another. And, you know, it's going to be fun to watch the game this weekend and see all the former SEC players balling out.
If I am correct here, most of those SEC players are on the Lions team, which Dan Campbell's not necessarily the head coach, but he's overseeing what they're doing. Am I right about that?
Yeah. And I think Deuce Staley is kind of acting as the head guy. And there's been a lot of good highlights. I mean, big John Ridgway from Arkansas had a monster play the other day where he tore through the O-line and blew up Dameon Pierce, the Florida running back, in the backfield. I talked with Leon O'Neal the other day, and you know, I love his confidence and his swagger. He goes, yeah, look, there's some good safeties out here, but I'm better than all of them. I was like, man, Leon O'Neal, go get you some. So it's just been a lot of fun seeing all the SEC guys out here.
By the way, I don't doubt that he is better than all of them out there. And I do think when you play that kind of position, you need to have that kind of confidence that Leon has.
Absolutely. And it'd be a lot of fun to see, man, if he could somehow end up in a Houston Texans uniform right down the road. It'd be a lot of fun to see him replace Eric Reed at that safety spot.
Chris, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on is because I feel like for the most part, you get A&M culture, you get the way we go about our business. As an Aggie, we all loved what Jimbo said the other day. Loved it. Like he spoke to our fan base, he spoke to all of us, and it was like, yeah, let's go get him. But I feel like some people don't get what he was talking about. So I don't know if we're going to argue about it, but I want to know, like, what did you think of Jimbo throwing down the gauntlet there?
I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, it was great entertainment. I mean, it was about 2.5 minutes of, you know, viral video that played across everywhere. But I think the weird part to everybody is, you know, everybody I've talked to, let's be real. NIL is a real deal. There are players getting deals with companies that, you know, kind of have to do with, hey, if you come here, you know, we'll have this opportunity. It's not necessarily, and this is where Jimbo is drawing the line, the school is not offering these NIL deals. There are fans, there are boosters, there are big money people. And the important thing about this is it's legal. Like, that's the part that people can't wrap their heads around, is if A&M has a bunch of boosters that want to sign kids to NIL deals and pay them money, this is all within the boundaries and rules of how this operates. So we got to understand that. But I think what Jimbo, the only contention I would have with what Jimbo said was, we didn't do anything outside of the boundaries of this. This was all just our staff working hard. And I know they worked hard, and I know that's legit. But I think, and keep in mind, there is the rule that you can't use NIL with recruiting. So Jimbo's got to do his due diligence to distance himself from that and say, look, we didn't violate any rules. But I think also in that speech, it would have been okay for him to say, Texas A&M is one of the biggest brands in college football. We've shown over the past couple of years, we're coming. We beat Alabama this year. And we have the greatest support of the Texas A&M, the Aggie community, and the state of Texas. And we love that we have that support from our fans, our alums, and all that kind of stuff. I think he could have said that, which doesn't translate.
Gordy, he did say that,
but
though.
At least hints at it.
He did say that. I mean, he did. I mean, I think people pick up on parts of sound bites and they run with that, but he did say that. Here's where I have a problem with people coming after Jimbo. People saying the narrative that the $30 million fund is how he got that. That discredits his staff. That discredits what they've done the last 4 years since he's been here. They've already had a number 3 recruiting class before NIL was a deal. And by the way, everybody is benefiting from NIL. So it's actually a level playing field. So to say that NIL is why they got number 1, and some dude named Sliced Bread saying that there's 30 million fake dollars out there, that a message board, I think that was his contention, that people are running with stuff like this Brian Harsin stuff out there. I'm not reporting it. It's message board stuff until it's reported by reputable people. Let me know when that $30 million is reported by Pat Forty or somebody. I don't care who a big name is, if you like them or not. Then we start. But when you run with it because a message board said something, that's the problem. I think that's why Jimbo had such a problem with it. And by the way, Lane Kiffin, benefiting from the transfer window, right? Did NIL help him? Because he got 3 of the biggest names.
Yeah, and that's the interesting part. And look, Lane has been going after everybody. He went after Brian Kelly with the dance videos. He's doing everything he can to try to pump Ole Miss up. It's what Lane does. He lives on social media. He lives in press conferences to get attention to Ole Miss. So he knew what he was doing there. But I'm kind of with Jimbo from the standpoint of, hey, y'all want to start talking about doing things sketchy or, going outside the rules. I've been a lot of places and I've seen a lot of things a la Nick Saban, a la Lane Kiffin. So you want to start bringing skeletons out of the closet. I ain't afraid to start speaking my mind either. But yeah, I think, the only thing I'll say is this is, I've seen Billy Lucci very, defensive on social media and all this. I say, if you're an Aggie fan, no reason to be defensive. Look, you got everything you guys are doing is within the boundaries of the rules. Jacoby Matthews, for instance, he's a kid who grew up in Ponchatoula, Louisiana. He was, as of Monday, he was 50-50 on LSU and A&M. And from what I was told was he had NIL offers from both communities, let's say, because we can't say schools. LSU didn't offer him money. A&M didn't offer him money. Communities. And there was a bidding war. And A&M won. There's nothing wrong with that. The A&M community is so excited and supportive of their players. They're willing to open up their checkbook and write checks, and it's within the boundaries of legality. And this is not a violation of anything. This is the new world we live in when it comes to NIL. And if some of these players that got NIL deals and are at A&M and they don't pan out, well, that's the loss of doing this. But at the end of the day, it's not a loss because it's kids getting money that have been denied money for so long in college athletics. So, yeah, again, I would just say if you're an Aggie fan and you're getting into it with people on social media, no reason to be defensive. Just say, hey, look, what rules do we violate? You haven't.
Again, though, and let's move on from this because we'll just go in a circle. I think it's that $30 million narrative. Like, dude, they would pay Kenyon Green and DeMarvin Leal to stay if they had $30 million that they're paying you guys. It causes problems in other programs and potentially here's a locker room when, wait, this guy hasn't even proven himself. He's making millions of dollars, but I am a all SEC type player and I'm not getting, see, that's where I think that, but let's move on from that. The championship or bust mentality that people are now attaching to Jimbo. Hello, it's the SEC. Every coach, Brian Kelly included, and Billy Napier, it is championship or bust when you play in the SEC or any big-time conference.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was championship or bust when they started paying him $10 million a year. Like, that's what the expectations are in College Station. And I'd say, look, there are some Aggie fans that are saying, we've been in the SEC a decade now, and we haven't broken through and won the West yet. Like, I think there are a lot of Aggie fans saying, clock is ticking, let's go. I mean, you came so close to getting into the playoffs 2 years ago. You go 9-1 in the COVID year, knocking on the door, and then the quarterback injuries derailed this past season. I think it's time for Jimbo and staff to say, what more do we need? So you got all the horses in the barn. You did the recruiting, you killed it. I think now, I don't know if it'll be this year, but you got to see a step forward. Got to see quarterback development. Hopefully, whether it's Haynes King, Connor Wegman, whoever it is, we got to see that guy entrench himself as a starter. We know the running back's going to be good. We know the defense is still going to be pretty solid. You want to get all these young guys, get their feet wet, and kind of see where you are. But yeah, I'd say, David, if we're talking about the next 3 years, A&M has not won the West, it's a huge disappointment.
Sure, but you mentioned they need to see some development, and wouldn't you say that last year, not the 2021 season, but the 2020 season, where they played an all-SEC schedule and won the Orange Bowl, and could have been in that Final Four playoff spot? I think they should have been. That's again, people forget this past year there was an injury at quarterback, and if you take away Matt Corral from Ole Miss, they're not going to the Sugar Bowl. You take away Bryce Young from Alabama, I don't think they make it to the national championship game. Georgia had a great defense. It doesn't matter who played quarterback, I feel like, in that situation. But most teams that are playing with their backup quarterback are not going 9-1 or 11-1. Like that's what happens when your clear number one goes down.
True, but I could always bring up cases. Ohio State years ago with Cardell Jones, they're still able to get there. I mean, you just want to have a good contingency plan. You want to feel like if God forbid Haynes King is the starter and he gets hurt again, that your backup gives you just as good of a chance to win. And Zach Calzada, look, it was up and down. It was a roller coaster season. He'll always be remembered for the win over Alabama. But look, if he goes to Auburn and beats A&M, we'll hate him for the rest of our lives. But I think you just want to make sure you got the depth and you got everything figured out. And, I think a lot of people just want to see these freshmen get in there and have an impact immediately this year. And the schedule's not brutal. I think it's doable this year. Is the expectation going to be for them to win the West? No, but let's keep in mind, David, down the stretch of the season, A&M, even with all the losses and the issues, still had an outside chance to win. Alabama having beat them head to head. If Bama had lost the Iron Bowl, if they'd slipped up somewhere else, I mean, we could have really been talking about A&M winning the West. So it's not like they were that far out of it this year. They were still right there. So, yeah, again, it's the foundation has been laid. Let's see what some of these young guys can do next year. And, there's no reason why I will count A&M out from winning the West next year. Bryce Young's back at Alabama, sure, but they got a lot of issues to figure out. There's no reason why A&M can't compete for the West this year.
Let's go. I like that. Hey, let's go back to the Senior Bowl for a minute. Who else is turning some heads out there? You mentioned Leon O'Neal. You like to talking to him. How's Malik Willis looking? Maybe any other Aggies out there turning some heads?
Malik Willis is way smaller than I expected. I think they list him at 5'10", 5'11". I mean, he looks like he's 5'8". I mean, he looks really tiny. The first play that he got in on was a running play, and he was under center, and he botched the snap, fumbled it. They immediately stopped, got with him, and put him in shotgun where he felt more comfortable. And it's always interesting when you see this because there's so many guys that run spread offenses and, play in shotgun all through college, and then they get to the pros, and it's like, oh, all right, go put your hand under the center's butt. It's like, wait, what? What are we doing now? This is not normal to me. So that was interesting. He made some nice throws, though. I think Malik Willis, I was saying this earlier this morning, I think for all the talk about this being a bad quarterback crop, I think Kenny Pickett has established himself. He's going to be a top 5 pick from Pitt, and I think Malik Willis is going to go in the top 10. I think Matt Corral goes not far after that. And then there's other guys in the mix, like Carson Strong, Desmond Ridder. I think when it's all said and done, we're talking about 4 quarterbacks going in the first round this year. And it's just funny because all the talk for the last year has been what a bad quarterback crop this is. And keep in mind, Sam Howell from North Carolina, he's made some nice throws this week as well. He was a guy that people thought could be the number 1 quarterback in this group. So that stood out. As far as other names that have caught my eye, Tyler Beatty from Missouri. Look, I know a lot of people weren't watching Missouri games religiously this year, but he was a workhorse for them. Versatile back, and run the ball, can catch it out of the backfield. I really like Tyler Beatty. I think he's probably going to be a 2nd or 3rd round pick. That's going to be a steal for somebody. He mentioned he loves Alvin Kamara. That's who he idolizes and fancies his game after. So I think Tyler Beatty is really going to surprise some people at the next level.
Gordy, can you make sense of the Harbaugh situation? Like all the reports of he's about to go to the Vikings, he's not going to go to the Vikings, no NFL interest. What do you make of that mess?
I thought his name coming up again was silly, just from a standpoint of he's been out of the NFL for so long, and he's done a mediocre job at Michigan. Like, all of a sudden he breaks through, beats Ohio State this year, and gets to the playoff. Gets embarrassed, by the way, the playoff. And all of a sudden we're back on the Jim Harbaugh wagon. Like, I'm going, no. I'm pumping the brakes here. Like, he's not this. Like, he's been average at Michigan. Let's not get it twisted. He's been very average. He's underachieved, you could even say, at Michigan. This year was great. Don't get me wrong. This year was what he's supposed to be doing at Michigan every year. But outside of this, he's missed on recruits. Ohio State has dominated them in that rivalry. So I didn't understand the whole obsession with, Harbaugh back to the pros. Who's to say he'd even be good in the pros? You know that everything evolves. Just because you were a good NFL coach 8-9 years ago doesn't mean you're going to be a good head coach in the NFL now. So it is what it is. I think the Brian Flores situation changed things as well. I think they were looking at it and saying, do we really go get this guy from the college ranks who hasn't been in the NFL for years? And now it looks like they're going to hire Kevin O'Connell from the Rams. So I don't know what the ultimate reason was, but I was definitely one of the people saying pump the brakes on Harbaugh back to the NFL is a good idea.
Hey, let's close out with this, the Auburn situation there with Brian Harsin. What are you hearing? You're close to the situation there, and there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but also coaching and his relationship with other coaches that has caused some problems.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the internet rumors out there are, allude to a Bobby Petrino type situation where there was a girl who was a cheerleader at Boise who came with him over here, was working in the front office. I don't know exactly doing what, but again, don't want to go down the internet rumor boards, but if there is some truth to that, I think it's concerning. I mean, we saw it with Bobby Petrino and it led to his downfall, at Arkansas. So we'll see how this plays out. But outside of that, it's not a good look. Derek Mason, who was a really good defensive coordinator this year at Auburn, leaves after a year for Oklahoma State. Like, that's a lateral move. And I know Oklahoma State was good this year, and Mike Gundy's done a good job, but like, you don't leave Auburn for Oklahoma State. And then on top of it, you go get Austin Davis, who everybody raved about, and they looked at as a good quarterbacks coach in Seattle, and they thought maybe Liam Cohen, at Kentucky, he turned their offense around. Okay, this might make sense. Go get a quarterbacks coach from the NFL. Let's have him turn our offense around. And then he quits after 6 weeks and cites personal reasons. It's not a good look. And of all the coaches in the SEC right now, Brian Harsin is probably the one that most people would, if you were looking at it right now, like as a pecking order of a totem pole, like, I think Brian Harsin's right there down with Clark Lee at Vanderbilt as coaches you have little faith in.
Chris, we appreciate it, man. Enjoy the Senior Bowl. We'll talk to you soon.
Anytime, David.
Thank you very much. Chris Gordy there, Locked On SEC, joining us here on the program. Right now, let's talk a little Milliken Reserve here, farm-to-table community in College Station. So, you're coming from Kyle-Field, you get on Welburn, you got to start going towards Houston, right? You start going out there, you look on your left, about 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 13, whatever, however fast you drive. Sometimes I drive slow. And you look on your left, and there's Milliken Reserve. And you're like, what? This is kind of like playing. It's awesome. Like, everything about it is great. And that's why you need to go out there. You've got the healthy conservation, the wildlife, the 2,600 acres of open space, 30 miles of trails. They are a wonderful place. And if you're looking to move back to the area, you need to go to Milliken Reserve and check it out. MillikenReserve.com is the website, MillikenReserve.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. There's never been a better time for a cash-out refinance. NMLS 1309378, Equal Housing Opportunity. Brazos Valley Troop presents Villainy. Performances are this weekend. Reservations are strongly suggested and can be made by emailing bvttix@yahoo.com. Join the Arts Council of Brazos Valley on Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. as they welcome Randall Light, MD, into the gallery with his exhibit, Astrophotography, Exploring Celestial Mysteries. The Bryan Animal Center is hosting a free microchip and rabies vaccination event on Saturday, February 12th from 8 a.m. to noon at Tiffany Park. Pets must reside in the city limits of Bryan. There is a free class offered to seniors on healthy aging the first Wednesday of every month. Contact the Mature Well Lifestyle Club for more information. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Does your bank know your first name? At Normandy State Bank, they do. Normandy State Bank is locally owned, controlled, and operated. This local personal touch means banking decisions are made on site the same day you request it. Normandy State makes banking easy. They're open Saturdays, offer state-of-the-art online banking, bill paying, fund transfers, check and statement images. Normandy State, where customer service is their priority. Normandy State Bank, rock solid. Member FDIC.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's not every day you can save money. Oh, wait, you can. Hi, Jenny here from Big Deals. When you shop Big Deals, you'll save money every day on dozens of gift certificates from local businesses like these.
J. Cody's Steaks and Barbecue, Latino Hand Car Wash and Detail, Rocks Discount Vitamins, and Kalachi Rolfs. Visit AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
Alan Ward of Brigadoon Brewery joins me a couple of times a month on the Louis Bellina Show.
Believe it or not, brewing the same beer over and over and over again gets monotonous. The new model we have for beer in Texas, in the United States, basically, I would say, is that the tap room is going to have some one-offs, and that gives the brewery staff a chance to experiment, to try something new, a little different. They're probably brewing smaller batches. Most breweries have a pilot system, so instead of brewing 140 barrels, they do 2 barrels. And that gives them a chance to put something in the tap room for variety, because on the other side of that, the craft beer customer comes in and they want something new. They want to try something different, something that's only available at the tap room. And that gives the brewery staff a chance to experiment and to have some fun with it. A lot of breweries have a little competition, or they'll have a brewery employee of the month, and the employee of the month gets to.
We are a little bit more than just sports on the Louis Bellina Show, weekdays 11 to 2. Right here on The Zone, and brought to you in part by Tradition Mobile and Lube Express.
All right, welcome back. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Time for Around Aggieland, presented by Normandy State Bank. Normandy State Bank, rock solid banking. The website, normandystatebank.com. Let's go to Antarctica, where we find Richard Zane, who's been held there because of terrible weather. Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, David, my part of College Station is just frozen. Couldn't get out this morning.
What's up, brother?
Not much, man. I'm probably having a better day than Brian Harson, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is true. This is true, man. So what's going on in your world?
Okay, so around Aggieland, the GOAT reached another milestone last night. Gary Blair won his 850th career game as the Aggies took down Arkansas at Reed Arena 77-64. How about this? Kayla Wells, a career-high 30 points. Destiny Pitts had a double-double with 11 points and 12 rebounds. Aaliyah Patty, 19 rebounds as well. The Aggies will hit the road on Sunday as they head to Kentucky to face the Wildcats, an 11 a.m. Tip-off on ESPN2. On the men's side, they'll be at Reed Arena on Saturday afternoon facing Missouri, a 3 o'clock tip on ESPN2. Of course, A&M beat Mizzou on January the 15th, 67-64. The Aggies are looking to snap a 5-game losing streak in conference. Elsewhere, we've got track and field in action this weekend over at the Gilliam Indoor Track Stadium, hosting the Charlie Thomas Invitational Friday and Saturday. It begins at 2:30 today, 2 o'clock tomorrow. Streaming, the finals are streaming on Saturday. Equestrian stayed idle at number 2 in the country, although Haley Rutherford was named the NCEA Fences Rider of the Month. Men's golf finished 7th at the CBES Invitational. They'll be back in action next week. You heard Sam Bennett. They're traveling to Hawaii. Must be nice to be a golfer. Women's tennis is back in action on Sunday. They host SMU, looking to continue a perfect start. They're currently 8-0 and ranked 8th in the country. Jim Schlossnagels announced a new radio show that'll begin later this month. Softball's 1 week away, and your boy G. Guerreri announced a 5-game spring slate that'll begin February the 25th against Lamar at Ellis Field. David?
Appreciate you, Richard. Thanks very much, man.
Of course. Stay warm, David. It's dangerous out there.
Bundle up, buddy. Bundle up! All right, that's Richard Zane, my buddy. When we come back here on the show, hour number 3, Damian Parson going to be giving us a live report there from the Senior Bowl. Looking forward to that. Aaron Torres, Fox Sports Radio, and John Puglisi on A&M basketball. So we got a little bit of everything coming up here on the final hour of this week here, the first week in February. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
This Valentine's Day, say I love you with a gift from the Chocolate Gallery. Gourmet chocolates and pastries made in the heart of downtown Bryan. The Chocolate Gallery is taking pre-orders now for their decadent chocolate-covered strawberries, uniquely flavored chocolate truffles and bonbons, and Valentine iced sugar cookies. Valentine's goodies are only available by pre-order through February 12th. Don't miss your chance to give the best chocolates in the Brazos Valley. Pre-order now at shop.bcschocolategallery.com. That's shop.bcschocolategallery.com.
Grab your first cup of coffee weekday mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor, right here on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Plus, online at RadioAggieland.com. WC Tractor, your local award-winning Kubota in New Holland. Do you have questions? Look them up online at WCTractor.com. That's WCTractor.com. You can also call them at 1-888-8-TRACTOR. That's 1-888-8-TRACTOR. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor. Download podcast of your favorite shows, Louie, Jim, or TexAgs in the Pod Center at Zone1150.com. Subscribe and have them downloaded daily for you in the Pod Center at Zone1150.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. Those who have business in Bryan Municipal Court today are being given some options due to the weather. While the court is open normal hours, those who have documents or payments with a due date of today can also take care of their business next Monday. And those who cannot appear in Bryan Municipal Court today will have their case automatically rescheduled without penalty. A Bryan man arrested 6 weeks ago, but who has not been indicted for possessing 9 baggies of ecstasy, returns to jail following an arrest on a charge of entering a Bryan home last Christmas Eve and taking $1,000 and several presents. According to the Bryan police arrest report, the victim identified 18-year-old Jose Cardoza Jr. as one of 4 people who were caught on surveillance video. Brazos County's elections administrator says many voter registration applications her office has received in the mail will be rejected. Trudy Hancock says that's because they're not following the new state law requiring a social security number or date of birth.
And I understand with identity theft, a lot of people are concerned about putting that information on a form, but it is required. If you do not put that on the form, then we have to reject your application.
There are almost 123,000 registered voters in Brazos County. Hancock says that's about 1,000 more from a year ago. After taking off last year due to the pandemic, the signature fundraiser for the College Station ISD Education Foundation returns tonight. Foundation Director Teresa Benden says tickets remain available for 50 men who can cook.
We invite local businessmen. We have a representative from every one of our schools, whether it's a principal or a teacher, parent that cooks to represent the schools, and some local celebrities, and they bring 800 2-ounce samples of that recipe to the event to serve to our guests.
Tickets are available through noon today online at 50menwhocancook.org. For more news, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Question. Would you pick a chain barbecue place over a hometown joint? Do you root for East Coast universities instead of the local team? Nah, then why choose a big Wall Street bank? A&B started in 1892. 5 generations later, we're still owned and operated by the same Texas family. We support this community. We value your privacy. We make quick decisions, and we hate red tape. We answer to you, not Wall Street. Bank with A&B. Family owned, Texas proud. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The flagship station for Aggie athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Texas A&M women's basketball got back up on the winning track last night, downing Arkansas 77-64 at Reed. The victory snapped a 3-game losing skid for the maroon and white. Graduate guard Kayla Wells.
I just feel like we had a sense of urgency today. Coach Blair stressed that, and we stressed that in practice these past few days. We're trying to get to the tournament, and we're hungry. So we just had a little bit of sense of urgency, and we had energy, and we followed the game plan like we were supposed to. I don't think we did that against Mississippi State, and that was really a letdown because we needed that game. So this game we came and we took it personal, and we did what we were supposed to do.
Wells finished with a career-high 30 points for the Ags, who improved to 12-9 overall and 2-7 in SEC play. The victory also marked the 850th of Coach Gary Blair's illustrious career. The Aggie men's and women's diving teams dominated the first day of competition at the Air Force Diving Invitational. Amy Wilson and Victor Povsner each won their respective springboard events, and a combined 7 Ags advanced to the finals. And men's and women's track and field kicks off the Charlie Thomas Invitational this afternoon at the Gilliam Indoor Track Stadium. Competition gets underway at 2 o'clock. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Listening to The Zone on your smart speaker is easy. If Louie can do it, anyone can do it. 2 simple steps, and you can hear Chip Howard Sports Talk, TexAgs Radio, The Louie Bellina Show, or Aggie football, basketball, or baseball on your smart speaker. Step 1, and one time only needed, say Enable Zone 1150 skill. Then anytime you want to hear your favorite host or teams, all you have to do is say, play Zone 1150. Make sure to set it up and say, Enable Zone 1150 skill. And then listen in anytime just by saying, play Zone 1150.
And we're back, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go to the BCSI hotline, and we'll talk a little Senior Bowl. We go to Damian Parson of the Draft Network joining us here. Good morning to you, Damian. How you doing, man?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. I'm doing well.
Thanks so much, man. So I guess the first place I wanted to start with you is Dan Campbell, the Lions coach. How active is he, even though he's letting Deuce be the head coach for the game itself and practices? What are you seeing from Dan Campbell and his involvement?
Dan Campbell, you know, of course, anyone that follows him knows that he's a great leader. He's a great coach. He proved that during the 2021 season, his rookie season with the Lions. One thing that really stood out to me, and it was something I anticipated, I wanted to see if it actually came to fruition, was his coaching of the quarterback, specifically Malik Willis. There are times in practice where he's going and he's talking to Malik, he's coaching him up, he's praising him, he's showing him and letting him know different things, different concepts, different reads, and then Malik goes right back to the play and actually executes that. So it shows that great relationship. I saw great camaraderie between the two, and that was really good to see. So he was being really hands-on with those quarterbacks.
All right, so I see a lot of tweets out there, and I'm going to talk about some Aggies here for you about Leon O'Neal making some plays, being vocal, being versatile, being able to play in different areas. What have you seen from Leon?
Man, his energy is infectious. You know, I was just talking to some of our guys about that. Watching the guys, you know, when they break from install and they're doing stretching, he's one of the more active guys. He's dancing, he's bouncing, he's high-fiving, he's, you know, patting guys on the helmet. He's getting guys riled up and getting guys' energy levels up just during stretching, just the stretching period. And then that converts over to the field as well. Like I said, he's a high-energy guy. He's talkative. And I love a defensive back. One of the biggest things about playing defensive back is having swagger, and he has all of it. He's a swagged-out type of defender. You hear him talking and chirping at guys, going after guys. He's got a great attitude, but then seeing them on the field, they move around a lot of different spots. We saw him in one-on-ones, covering receivers, covering some tight ends. They put him at linebacker, strong safety, a little bit of nickel. They moved him around a lot, and he's an intriguing player, physical box defender that's really going to step in and stick his face in the fire against the run. I really liked what I saw from him this week.
Yeah, how important is it how versatile he can be?
The more you can do, right? You know, the old saying, the more you know, the more you can do. Anytime you can offer defenses, or if you're an offensive player or whatever, offer that skill set to be versatile, be flexible, right? To move around. You can create different pressure packages off of that. You can create different run fits off of that. And a guy like him that's not afraid to play in the box and play as a almost de facto big money backer, linebacker, dime backer, you would say, and stuff his face and run fit, you know, attack offensive linemen and try to block shed, shot shed, techniques and different things like that, and just be physical and not shy away from contact, not shy away from the moment. That's big because, again, depending on the matchup that you have, you know, it's a matchup league, right? The NFL's a matchup league. So if you're playing a run-heavy team and you have a Leon O'Neal that is versatile, that you can bring down the box as a strong safety and attack the run game, it's big. If it's more of a passing kind of a passing attack. You play him as almost like I said, strong safety coming down as a robber. I'm not going to say not Cam Chancellor, but remember what Cam Chancellor would do for the Legion of Boom, coming down from that high safety spot and roam the middle, either to lay guys out or make plays and break up passes. So that flexibility, that versatility is really big for the NFL.
When a guy like Michael Clemens steps on the field, I don't care how big most of the guys are, he's going to stand out. Have you noticed anything from Big Mike?
I actually did not see him this week. I was going to actually ask you about it because I was looking for him during the drills and everything. I did not see Michael Clemens this week, which I was really anticipating seeing him because he is a big guy. He is a physical guy, and I love to watch how defensive linemen move on the D-line. Can he switch gaps? Can he exchange with his teammates to twist and stunt? What's that flexibility look like, his burst in person, to get a real good feel for him. But unfortunately, I was not able to locate him this week.
We're talking some Senior Bowl here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, to Damian Parson of the Draft Network. All right, Aaron Hansford. I saw a clip of him on Twitter stopping the run and being able to fill that hole quickly. What have you seen from Aaron Hansford?
That's exactly what I saw as well. That thick build that he has, that, I watched him, especially in 7-on-7, working in the passing game and everything. He's a stout and thick build type of backer, triggers well downhill, run fits, meets in the hole. He's aggressive, right? And I love it. He's a downhill thumper. He can improve his efficiency as a tackler, just kind of being a little bit more controlled, because, like I said, he is aggressive. He will, once he commits, he's committed. But if he has to work on kind of breaking down when he's chasing plays down. But, man, downhill, hitting the gap, filling the holes, I love that for him. And like I said, that build is what really kind of caught my eye, because I didn't realize who he was at first. I was just kind of watching practice. And then, so of course, being on the sideline, especially like yesterday, and you get to really appreciate the size of some of these prospects. I was like, hold on a second. I was like, who's that little linebacker? So I kind of moved around to get a better angle. I saw it was him. And I was like, he's got that build. And I was like, that's the guy that was run fitting earlier in the week. So it was really fun to watch him, because at the end of the day, stopping the run is always going to be important in the NFL. I know it's a pass-happy league, but there's still a lot of teams that run the ball. And if you can't stop it, they're going to keep going.
Damon, we had a guest earlier talking a little bit about Malik Willis. Obviously, he's got a cannon. There's no doubt about that. But looking a little bit not as big as some people thought he might look. What have you seen from Malik Willis, the Liberty quarterback?
Day one, to quote my guy here at TDN, Joe Marino, Joe, in his YouTube video, said he had on day one had the 5 best throws and the 5 worst throws. So coming into day 2, which on day 2 I actually had quarterbacks to study and watch during practice in the rain. A lot of quarterbacks, I will tell you, kind of struggle. A lot of other quarterbacks, Kenny Pickett, Carson Strong, those guys kind of struggle with the rain. Malik Willis had no issues. He was throwing laser beams, right? And not only that, but showing the ability, again, take that coaching, just watching him and Dan Campbell's interactions. I remember, I think it was a flat route that he didn't take. He did complete the pass. He went to another route, deeper route. It looks like Dan Campbell just kind of told him, hey, you could take it. You could take it. Comes back, maybe a couple plays later, he hits the flat route, hits the swing route, guys wide open, and he gets through his read. And that's one of the things I've been seeing from him as well, is that the mental aptitude to take not just the coaching, but understand what his weaknesses were and improve on them. I saw accuracy, ball placement, the arm, especially yesterday, being in the stadium, or the dome the practice dome we were in, and being on the sideline and watching the ball come off his hand in person, live, that close, it was incredible. He had a rocket of arm, not even arguably the best arm in this class. But again, being able to see that growth from him, he compiled and stacked back-to-back good days in practice. I actually just tweeted out a clip from 7-on-7. So when I watch 7-on-7s, I'll tell you, one of the main things for me is when I'm watching 7-on-7, I want to see a guy, because there's no pass rush, right? I want to see a guy be confident in the pocket, be poised, get through his reads. If you're in 7-on-7, you're staring down one route the entire time with no pass rush, that's a little concerning to me. And I'm watching Malik Willis, I'm watching the practice tape, and he's going through his reads. It's like tick, 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 and then he hits. And he fits the ball in like some of the tightest windows, and he's putting it on the money. I'll tell you, also, I think it was on day 2. Day 1 or 2, can't remember which day it was. his first 2 passes were high in wide receiver QB drills. And I watched his body language, just kind of like talking to him, saying, okay, his next 3 passes, it was short routes, like curls, comebacks, in breakers, and he was putting it between the numbers. Just boom, boom, boom. And I was like, that's what I want to see. Self-coaching. If you can't coach yourself up when you know you're making mistakes, how can you accept coaching from anyone else?
How about Tyler Beatty out there? We know him here at A&M playing against Missouri, obviously, but he's making a name for himself out there as well, running really hard from what I see.
Yes, he's a shorter back, nice compact frame. He's electric. He's really great feet. And Missouri ran, especially with him, a lot of outside zone runs, and you see that even with some of the toss sweeps and kind of the runs that are directed to the perimeter. His patience. He knows that he's explosive. He knows he's got good speed and good burst. But it's all about manipulating the second-level defenders. He does a great job of that. He's especially day one. He's pressing and pressing. He's getting linebackers to flow. He's manipulating their leverage. And when they out-leverage themselves, he cuts right off of it, and he gets the field. And he's running hard. He's bouncing off the tackles, showing that contact balance and that core strength and his leg drive. For a guy that is his size, right? He's not 225 pounds, but he's pushing guys. He's driving. He's showing that effort. And then in his A trait, pretty much that trump card for him, he's a hassle in one-on-one. He's a hassle running routes out of the backfield. He's catching guys flat-footed. He's giving them stick nods. He's giving them head fakes and a lot of different body movement with his electric feet at the top of his routes. And he's breaking off of these guys, and he's leaving them in the dust. He had a really great week this week.
Damian, last thing for you. Who is somebody that has impressed you that you did not expect to really learn on that much about?
So I would say I've been watching for a couple years, over at Boise State. Wide receiver, Khalil Shakir. And if you follow me on Twitter, DP_NFL, I've been tweeting about him the past couple of days. He had kind of a rough day 1, but day 2 and day 3, he was almost uncovered. And he became, I think, one of Kenny Pickett's, especially yesterday, in the red zone drills, one of his favorite targets. Just being able to get in and out of breaks at the line of scrimmage is so hard, especially for some of these taller 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" corners at the line of scrimmage, to be able to get their hands on him. He's so sudden, so quick, and so fast at the line of scrimmage, and he does a good job with his footwork, with his hands, because that's the way you beat press coverage. Feet first, hands second. He's been doing it, getting into his routes quickly, just winning consistently, stacking wins, and he's been impressive. Like I said, he was the guy that really stood out to me. I know Christian Watson was coming, and he had a great week himself, but Khalil Shakir came in, and a lot of people may not have known him, but he's a guy that you definitely want to put on your radar this draft season.
Appreciate your time, Damian. Take care and enjoy the game.
Yes, sir. You have a good one.
You too. Damian Pierce here from the Draft Network. Appreciate his time there. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. You got to go check them out, guys. It's just a wonderful place, not to hang out at, right? That's not where I'm going to go on a Friday night, but maybe Saturday morning looking for a car. Why not, right? Friday afternoon. Why not? That's the place to go and find your vehicles, and you can do it from the comfort of your home because they got a lot of great deals on CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. Click it. You'll see the deals, the new deals every single month. And this is the heavy-hitting stuff that you need to know. Good people, good service, great deals. That's it. That's the reason to go. Good people, great service, great deals. You put those three together, and you know that Zach Hester is going to take great care of you when you visit the lot there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. I'm telling you, you're going to leave satisfied. Even if you're not in the market just yet, but you just want to start sampling, go check them out. I'm telling you, you're going to love the experience, and you're going to find great vehicles, and they're going to help you find the vehicle that you're looking for. That's what they do there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell. It's about a 15-minute drive right to Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and you do business with Zach and the fellas. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. Get pre-approved today with a 5-minute loan approval. NMLS 1309378, Equal Housing Opportunity. The Bryan High Fine Arts Department presents Disney's The Little Mermaid, Thursday and Friday at 7 p.m. and Saturday at 1 and 7. Tickets are available at the door. The Children's Museum invites you to enjoy an enchanted evening with your little sweetheart as the daddy-daughter dance takes over the Stella Hotel on Friday Friday and Saturday. Purchase tickets at cmbv.org. The Bryan College Station Chamber of Commerce is hosting a local candidates forum on Wednesday from 6 to 8 at the Brazos Center. If you can't attend in person, you can listen to it on 1620 94.5 WTAW or stream it at radioaggieland.com. Submit your nonprofit event by email to news@WTAW.com. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
In Africa, 5-year-old Chiru has no choice. She and millions like her must walk miles every day for dirty water. But together, we can end their walk by providing clean water close by. Instead of spending hours walking to get water that makes them sick, girls can be in a classroom that expands their minds, and moms will gain back time to care for their families. Sons and daughters can grow up strong, finally free of sicknesses caused by dirty water. At World Vision, care about clean water runs deep. Deep enough to reach one new person with clean water every 10 seconds. Because every child, every person, everywhere deserves clean water and a chance to rise to their full potential. It's true. When you just add water, you change a life. Learn more at worldvision.org.
Ridley, I want you to break this game down for us.
Bama's biggest key to winning this game is shutting down Walker Kessler.
Are you interested in being a sportscaster when you get a little bit older?
Thinking about that, or I want to be a farmer.
We don't have enough good farmers in this country. We have way too many bad sportscasters. I would recommend you going into farming.
It's the Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on The Zone.
We are TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It's been a fun show today. Appreciate everybody listening and checking out the A&B text line and the BCSI hotline, which is where we find our next guest, Aaron Torres. Aaron Torres online and, of course, Fox Sports Radio. Aaron, good morning to you, sir.
David Nuño, what's going on, man? How are you?
Good, man. So we were going to have you, and then we had to reschedule stuff. Then you were going to go out of town. But you're like, dude, this Jimbo thing makes me want to talk, Nuño. Fit me in. Let's do a Friday hit. And here we are.
I'll tell you this. I'm so fired up. I talked about this a lot on my podcast this morning, and I encourage Aggies fans to check it out. But, it's so funny because obviously, look, our buddy Sliced Bread, this didn't start this week. And so many people have said, Torres, are you going to talk about this? Or what do you think? Or blah, 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 or this and that. And I've always kind of felt like exactly what Jimbo said is that, like, my whole thing is if I talked about every internet message board rumor, like, I'd never stop talking. And so, if there was something concrete or something whatever, then it's worth discussing. But and I thought Jimbo's point this week was so good is like, how does this even become a story where now you have national media heads, Nick Saban, Lane Kiffin, whatever, talking about it? So I'm here to fight the fight for the Aggies. You take this any direction you want. But I'm really excited to talk to you about this because I was just blown away by how this is a story that continues to be talked about as if it's fact, when in fact, as Jimbo Fisher brought up the other day, it was a silly message board rumor that then turned into a blog post, and all of a sudden we're taking it as gospel.
Aaron, I've noticed that people are fighting different fights on this topic, and what I mean by that is Jimbo's talking about this narrative, that $30 million fund that was never there. That's a part of what he's fighting, and that NIL is the reason they got a top class, and my response to that is NIL message board talk is fake, and also Alabama and Ole Miss and all these teams are also using NIL. So NIL is not the reason that A&M got the number one class. But others want to argue that, like, just deal with it. Like, this is what happens when you're one of these dogs here in the top. I still think there's a different fight to be fought, and Jimbo does it from the PR standpoint, but also is going to do it on the field with this class.
Well, yeah, and so yeah, no, I think there's two different things, and I do agree with you on that. Where I think I've become frustrated is this idea that there is no way that Texas A&M could have pulled this off without, if you want to call it breaking the rules, that's the thing, right? Is it even breaking rules at this point? If such a thing as the alleged slush fund existed, I don't even know if that's breaking the rules. But where my problem comes in is this idea that Texas A&M couldn't do it any other way than the allegations. And the point that I brought up yesterday on social media is a couple things is, listen, anybody who follows recruiting, and we talked about this after the first signing day in December, anyone who follows recruiting knows that teams historically have their best recruiting class directly after a great season on the field. I talked about it on my podcast today. I expect Georgia to probably have the number one class in the country next year. I expect Jim Harbaugh to sign his best class at Michigan next season. That is the nature of how these things work. And so when you have an A&M team coming off a 9-1 season where they nearly made the college football playoff, when you have all the external factors of SEC, 100,000 seat stadium, facilities, all that stuff, when Jimbo is publicly and the players are saying publicly that the pitch is, you can go to Alabama and be a cog in the machine, or you can come here and make history. That's a pretty compelling recruiting pitch. And then I think a huge part of this that nobody talks about is A&M really capitalized on the chaos with everybody else in college football, right? And I don't claim to be a recruiting guru or expert, but, correct me if I'm wrong, Shamar Stewart for a long time was considering the Florida Gators, but then Dan Mullen's out. He was considering Miami at the end, but he didn't have a year's worth of a relationship with Mario Cristobal. The safety out of Louisiana, I think he was an LSU lean early in the process, and then Coach O gets fired. The kid that was committed to Oklahoma, the big defensive tackle that is now coming to Texas A&M because Lincoln Riley left. So that was where my frustration is the idea that it's so inconceivable that when you actually just look at it's like I'm not a lawyer, but you just look at the simple facts of the case, it's very easy to see how Jimbo Fisher, and oh, by the way, Jimbo Fisher is a national championship winning coach who has had top-ranked recruiting classes before at Florida State. I think when you just look at the facts, I don't understand why it's so inconceivable that it could be possible that Texas A&M just had a really awesome recruiting pitch, and coming off a 9-1 season, recruits were really bought into it.
Aaron Torres online with us here on the BCSI hotline. Aaron, so Lane coming after Jimbo a little bit, I thought was kind of rich considering the fact that if you do deductive reasoning and think that A&M had this $30 million fund to get this top class, well, what about Lane getting the top transfer class? I mean, everybody he got was a heavy hitter.
That was my other point okay, Lane Kiffin. And by the way, listen, I fundamentally, first of all, I think anybody should say what you feel, whatever. But first of all, Lane Kiffin did have NCAA issues at Tennessee a decade ago. Ironically, it involved recruiting hostesses, which is another hot topic in the college football world right now. But you have that part of it. But then as I tweeted, so let's just do some math here. So Lane Kiffin in this most recent transfer cycle right now, the one that's sort of ongoing for the next season, he signed arguably the second best quarterback in the portal, probably third best behind Caleb Williams and Quinn Ewers. That's, of course, Jackson Dart. He signed the number one running back, Zach Evans. Signed the number one tight end, Michael Trigg. Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, David, they didn't win a national championship last year. How did he recruit so well? David, I need some answers because there's obviously a slush fund. They didn't win a national championship. They're getting all these good players. Oh, wait a second. Maybe he has a really compelling recruiting pitch coming off a really good season in which Jackson Dart, Zach Evans, all these guys just saw the season that they had before. So, yeah, if we're going to make the argument that A&M coming off a 9-1 season, by the way, most of these big-time players committed during the summer, the fall immediately after that 9-1 season, some of them early this season. If we're going to do that, then that happens with A&M, but there's still a slush fund. Why am I not to assume that there's not a slush fund at Ole Miss? They just signed the best transfer portal class maybe in the country outside of maybe USC. I need some answers, David. Are we going to do where's sliced bread on this one? Is Bro Bible going to do a write-up on this one? I need some answers, David. I'm just asking the questions. I just want to know. If you see that link on Bro Bible, let me know because I want to see it, okay?
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that link. All right, I do want to ask about the Auburn situation. Beyond the off-the-field stuff that we keep hearing, it's been trending in this direction for quite a while. But let's not forget, the week before the A&M Auburn game, there was talk about Auburn backdooring themselves into an SEC championship game, and my, have things gone south for them.
Yeah, it's wild, and I've been traveling a little bit and whatever, so I haven't really had a chance to dig into everything. I obviously know the allegation with Brian Harsin, but I think you go above and beyond, and it's as you said, David. As I said to lead this segment, I don't turn internet rumor and innuendo into facts, so we'll let the facts, bear out on Brian Harsin and his personal life at Auburn. But on the field, and we just talked transfer portal. It's been a brutal, as you said, probably 10, 12 weeks, really since the A&M game. I mean, listen, A&M basically broke the Auburn program, David. I don't know if you guys do that, but they haven't been the same since. I mean, on the field, you obviously lose to South Carolina late in the season, and I think that was when it really started to turn south because, you have a situation where, okay, it's one thing if you lose to Bama. It's one thing if you lose to A&M. Again, at the time, A&M was, I think, ranked in the top 10. But you start losing to Mississippi State at home. You start losing to South Carolina. People start asking questions. Then whatever's going on with the coaching staff, multiple coordinators in and out the door. Derek Mason leaves for Oklahoma State. And again, with the transfer portal stuff, I mean, I think the number I saw was 19 players leaving the program. And I understand there's some natural attrition that comes. He inherited a lot of players from Gus Malzahn. Maybe some of them aren't fully bought in. I get all that stuff. But, man, and I'll say this too, David, we'll see, and there's plenty of time, and we know how quickly things can change in college football. But this was one when it happened, I didn't really when he was hired, I didn't get it. And I understood the notion of he's a program this and, toughness that, and I got the concept behind the hire. But asking a dude that's never been in that SEC fishbowl, that had really, I think he spent 1 year at Arkansas State, had never really recruited in the Southeast, had no ties to the region, had never coached at the Power 5 level. That's just a lot to ask. And I haven't crunched the numbers or whatever, but, you do the math on guys coming from the outside, whether it's Brett Bielema, guys like that. There haven't been a ton of guys that really have no ties that have a ton of success. And so, yes, assuming that he survives this weekend, and that, the rumors that are out there are not true and that he sticks around to coach a second season, you just look at this program and it just feels like it's totally trending in the right direction. I'll say this, no disrespect to the kid, former Aggie, Zach Calzada. He's kind of the answer at quarterback, obviously in the post-Bo Nix world. Love Zach Calzada, love what he did for your program. I don't know that he's a guy that in year two, when you got to win some games because year one didn't end strong, that you can really lean on for a big bounce back year. So, assuming Brian Harsin survives all this, I'm not rooting for anything, especially in his personal life when you start talking family and all that. But everything is trending in the wrong direction for that guy, David. And like you said, really starting with that Aggies game through Mississippi State, South Carolina, and beyond.
Got about a minute left. Last thing for you. Got to ask you about the have you ever spit on somebody when you're leaving a basketball court? What happened yesterday with UCLA, man?
So I was at the game, and so I'm in Tucson, first trip ever, having a blast. I'm actually about to get on a plane back home here in about an hour or so. And it was, it was hostile, but it was no more or less hostile than any big college basketball environment. I mean, I don't remember Kentucky players spitting on anybody at Reed Arena when they were walking out of the arena. So it was crazy. And what was really weird was, I kind of stuck around after the game, obviously doing some media stuff, kind of talking to people on both staffs, and something must have it certainly escalated quickly because, I mean, to be blunt, I was, walking out of the arena around the same time that the UCLA coaching staff appeared to be getting on the bus, and they looked like a disappointed team, kind of based on not winning a big game on the road in conference play. But I didn't have any speculation that there was a player that was either under investigation or at that point they said they arrested him at the arena. So I don't know. But yeah, it was absolutely wild. And then, like I said, I was there. It was hostile, but walking out of that arena, I don't think there was anybody in the media, at least nobody that I was with, that seemed to believe that there was a criminal matter going on. So just absolutely crazy, bizarre, wild situation.
Aaron, we appreciate it, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right, download the Aaron Torres pod today. A lot of Aggies talk. Thank you, David.
Thank you, brother. Go download that right after this show or during the show. You can listen to it afterwards. Appreciate Aaron here on the program. When we come back, more Aggie basketball talk. John Puglisi, he's got some thoughts. We'll get to him next on TexAgs.
He's worked for Chip Howard, Mark Cuban, and Mickey Mouse. David Nuño on TexAgs Radio on The Zone.
This Valentine's Day, say I love you with a gift from the Chocolate Gallery. Gourmet chocolates and pastries made in the heart of downtown Bryan. The Chocolate Gallery is taking pre-orders now for their decadent chocolate-covered strawberries, uniquely flavored chocolate truffles and bonbons, and Valentine iced sugar cookies. Valentine's goodies are only available by pre-order through February 12th. Don't miss your chance to give the best chocolates in the Brazos Valley. Pre-order now at shop.bcschocolategallery.com. That's shop.bcschocolategallery.com.
We're here with Jason Rollo of Rollo Insurance. Jason, when we say the difference is real, what does that mean?
Well, first of all, when we use the term real, we're speaking about being genuine. And I think that anyone who does something in a good way has to be genuine. But also when I think about the term real, I think about rates, education, assets, and life. Many people think that insurance is about rates. Although that's important, it's actually about education of what you're buying to protect your assets, and we want to do that for the life of the client.
For more information, go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs.
Every 2 minutes, a woman in the U.S. is diagnosed with breast cancer. And in that split-second moment in time, her life changes forever. The toll of breast cancer is great. The need to support those who are battling the disease today is even greater. And that's why when others look away, Susan G. Komen leans in. We're fighting alongside patients because we know one moment can change a lifetime. Fighting breast cancer takes funding for research to discover the next new treatment, providing access to quality and affordable health care, and people willing to take action by raising funds and raising their voice to advocate for others. United by hope, we can end breast cancer. Join our fight. Save lives.
The flagship station for Aggie athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Pioneer Steel, Gulf States Toyota, Cherry Rafino with Coldwell Banker Apex Realty, and Amarillo National Bank. Here's a big gig 'em to all these sponsors. Listen to